Hey everybody, it's Diesel Man coming at you with I got another live stream here, another a Thursday stream, if you will. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for hanging out, man, on a Thursday and everything. I know you got lives and things and other important things to do with your time. You just decided to come and hang out with this Southern fool. So many thanks to you. But without any further ado, I'm going to bring in my brother from another mother and my mate from across the pond, Mr. Jack Charlad. How are you,
Hello.
sir?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I, yeah, man. I'm off. I was off work today. It was nice. I got caught up on a whole bunch of stuff, cleaned up some stuff. I was able to enjoy a functional air conditioner. It was nice. Yeah, man.
It's nice being able to actually do things as well, like fix the air conditioner. You feel a sense of achievement, and not only that, you get to see the fruits of your labor almost immediately when the heat comes down.
Oh man, because it had been it had I had just not I'd been so lazy about doing it because I mean the thing it's pretty heavy. I want to say it probably weighs maybe 70, 80 pounds, somewhere in there, maybe more, maybe less. I don't think it quite weighs 100 pounds, but it's all awkward because you got to pull it out of the window, and then all of the crud that was in it, all the water stuff just poured all over my clothes. But I took it outside, and I had seen like that grill work stuff that's on the inside, and it had gotten gummed up with dirt and stuff like that, and it'll get that mildew in it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is exactly what's happening, man. It's blocked up, so it's not allowing the air to flow. So I took it out and hosed the whole thing out, the hose pipe, cleaned it all out, cleaned all of the black nasty stuff that was on it, on the vents, all of that stuff, so it looks like it's brand new again, and slapped it back
And
in
it's
there.
it it's nice to be able to do those things by yourself and not have to call someone to have to do it for you.
Well, this thing is it's just a little window unit. So it's like a
Hmm.
little tiny one. You wouldn't ever spend, you can go buy another one for maybe 160 bucks, maybe 170 bucks, maybe at the.
Wow, they're dirt cheap over there.
Yeah. This one, actually, now it's probably more like 200 something dollars, man, depending on like all the inflation and all the bull job that's going on. But
Bidenomics.
yeah, Bidenomics, man. It's not working. I'm brain dead.
You know the thing.
Oh, yeah,
Come on, man.
that guy. What is that guy that does the parody, the spoofs, where he does the Fresh Prayers of Bel Air? That guy. Oh, have you ever seen
I
that?
can't think. I think I've seen it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't think of what his name is. There is
that
a
guy's.
parody. Just to change the subject slightly, there is a parody that I have been watching recently, and it's this guy who does deep fakes of like Qui Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they're all sort of sitting on the sofa, but they're rating the Star Wars programs, that have been
Oh, the
coming out
Disney
now,
stuff.
and it is really quite funny because he does the impressions awfully well of like Qui Gon, and even it says right at the beginning these impressions are done poorly, and then not because his Anakin one is hilarious, absolutely. But yeah,
You
look
gotta
out for.
send
I
me a
can't think.
link of that, man. I want to
Yeah, I
check that
can't
out,
think of
man.
what his name is right now. Let's just see if it's in my recommended.
That's funny.
The YouTube algorithm. Here we go.
Yeah, man. It's just cool. I tell you, I got to I sprayed a whole bunch of I know I'm on about the air conditioner, but dude, I came back and it was 72 degrees. It's
Nice.
Fahrenheit. I can't do the math in my head to figure out what it is Celsius. It's it's like 1/8 something or another multiply. I can't remember the formula offhand. Now metric system, I can think in metric system as far as like weight. I worked in a lab for so long. That's all I thought about. And then I started to figure out how, 10 kilograms is actually pretty freaking heavy. And a stack of those 10-kilogram plates is really freaking heavy. But, and in grams and all kinds of stuff, I worked in a lab so long, I can think like that, but I can't think in my head what's hot or cold as far as like what. Let's see. I know like water boils at 100, right? Isn't that 100 Celsius when water boils?
Mm-hmm. And
That right? That's
freezes at
right.
zero.
Freezes at zero. That's right. So
Or
it's somewhere
melts
around.
at zero, depends on how you
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at it.
yeah. It's right. Yeah. There's the whole thermodynamics thing, and then we could get into Kelvin, where you just add 273 to everything and make it really ridiculous. I think.
Speaking of very low temperatures and ordinary temperatures, etc., did you see that new material that they've developed, which is a superconductor at room temperatures or ambient temperatures? So
What?
recently they needed to make superconductors extremely cold for them to be effective and to have like as little resistance as possible. But it seems like some scientists have actually created a brand new material that works at ambient temperatures and air pressures.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah,
it could
because
open a whole new world for like medical um, science and all sorts of scientific areas it could open up.
yeah. Now I know that certain things that when you freeze them, the molecules it will align the molecules and bring them together closer. Like I know there was this guy back in college and everything. This guy used to get. I think it was one of those science magazines and everything. And this dude took like this disposable razor, like for your
Hmm.
face, and he went and froze the thing. And I
Hmm.
mean, he brought it down to like he didn't bring it to absolute zero, but he brought it to something ridiculous. Like maybe
Yeah.
it was like minus 100, something like that. Anyway, they said he shaved with that thing for like a year. It would not lose its edge because he froze it and it compacted the molecules so much that it made. I mean, this little $1, less than $1, like disposable razor, it lasted for like a year because like when they froze it, all of it. Because when you do that, that's how that works. Like when all the molecules like line up and everything, and they become. I can
Well,
actually.
that's the whole. I mean, like essentially, what he did was tempered it further than ambient temperature because usually what they do is they bring it down from a very, very high red hot heat, don't they? And they temper it in oils. Like so, if you like an ironmonger will, if he's making a chisel,
Mhm.
he'll make the whole thing and then he'll temper it by constantly putting it into like a blast furnace and then cooling it down in a certain way. But the very tip of it, he wants it to be very, very, very hard. So,
Right.
ladies.
Uh,
Anyway, so he wants the very tip of the chisel to be very hard. So he'll like cool it in a little bit of oil, very, very slowly, very, very carefully, and he has to watch for the color change on the end of the chisel. So if you imagine like letting that cool down to ambient temperature and then further cooling it down to like zero temperatures or just above Kelvin, 0 Kelvin temperatures,
yep.
it's going to temper it even further, isn't it?
Further, man. It's
Yeah.
gonna make that align, and those all your molecules line up and they compact. And it's hard. I can kind of explain it, but I can see it molecularly from chemistry in my
Hmm.
head better than I can like kind of explain it. But it's the way that if you see like water molecules and then you see an ice molecule and how they all the everything lines up, you can even see when, especially when you go down and look at it like in a molecular level, how everything like the way that it just lines up is really it's kind of cool. See,
Hmm.
science is cool, man. I hadn't been able to do a whole lot with it yet, but it's like I learned a shit ton of stuff in school. That's why I'm like I'm practicing when people are like, "You're not a biologist." I'm like, "Well, actually, yeah, I am. I've taken damn near every biology that there is, a class that there is." So but
My qualifications say otherwise. What do your
yeah.
qualifications say?
Hey, dude, we got some. Let's pull it. Let's see who all's up in the chat, man. Let's see. We got Crystal McGee. What's up, Crystal? We got Heretic Prince. Yo, what's up, homie? And we got this dude. I heard he's pretty cool. We have Vendetta Lux. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
We have Anvac,
Hello, Amvac.
who has a different name on Twitter, and it took me. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a few minutes before I figured out that it was Anvac. But what it was the constant mustache memes that were coming earlier this week when I finally put two and two together, and there was 300 mustache memes in my thing, and I said, "That's Anvac." Okay, cool.
They were good memes, though.
They were
Very,
pretty
very,
good, man.
very
And
good
like when I
memes.
went back and looked at part of the stream, I was like, "Oh God, it looks even shittier than it was, man."
And you took it on the chin really well.
That's
Better than that fucking mustache sat on your lip, anyway.
you ain't shitting, dude. It looked, man. It wasn't really that bad, but in the
No, it
camera, it
wasn't.
looked like shit, dude. It was awful. But
Hail the
Lord,
law.
he is sick as hell. He got gonorrhea for syphilitis.
Oh no, not that. Did you get the coof? Is that what happened? Did he get some
He got something. I imagine he
horrible?
probably
You
got
got the
something like
lurgy,
that.
got cooties. You've been
He got
touching
AIDS.
girls, Hale.
Did you get
Did you
AIDS?
get? Did you get cooties off the Miss Hale the law? Or Mrs. Is it Mrs.? Did you get married?
He's got him a lady now. I don't know if he's gotten married yet.
Lady
Major-
law. That's what he calls her, doesn't he? Lady law.
Yeah. When he does, though, I always wanted to say, because I saw this in a Mad magazine one time, may divorce be with you. Like the Return of the Jedi, they had in Mad magazine back in the day, for those of you who were like old as dirt, it was like a parody magazine, and it was funny, man. They had Return of the Jedi, and like they had making a spoof on May the Force be with you through the whole time. And at the end, Han and Leia were getting married, and it had like Yoda and Obi-Wan and Darth Vader and everything. And Yoda was like Ghost Yoda and their Force Ghost there, and he was holding a sign that said "May the Force be with you" while they were getting married. It was hilarious. I always just wanted to say that. I don't really wish divorce on people, but I'm just like, I thought it was funny. Crescent. You learned
Crescent. Hello. How are you?
You're technically a scientist too, but didn't do anything close to my. It's weird, man. It's like we need more scientists, and I became one, and it's like, don't you need more of us? What am I supposed to do here? Oh, yeah,
I'm technically a scientist. I mean, like, if the scientists of today are to be believed, then I can be a scientist too, with no qualifications. I identify as a scientist. Yeah, that's it. I identify as a chemist. I like to make pharmaceuticals. No, of course not. I'm joking, of course.
I was. Let's see. I'd say in college, I was a walking chemistry experiment.
Well, I think all of us were when we were very young, weren't we?
Yeah, I did it. Unfortunately, I did it for a while afterwards too.
Some of us are chemistry experiments. Some of us are definitely biology experiments.
Biology.
You know what I mean? If you've ever been to a Magic the Gathering convention, then you know that some of those people are definitely biological experiments. Like, just their bodies are covered in, colonies of different bacteria. Yeah, absolutely.
It was cool, man. Back when I was a kid, when you had strep throat, I found this. I remember in microbiology, they used to do a throat culture, and I didn't understand what it was back in the day, but I just remember that they took a swab and they put it in your throat. Then they had this little tray, and it was like a little tray, and it was a culture thing, and they just wiped the swab on there.
Yeah, the petri dish.
Yeah, and they put it in there, and it usually had like a maroon little like a gel layer that was in there and stuff like that. I actually
the nutrient, yeah,
and you put it in there, and then it would grow. It was neat because I took microbiology, and then we did some of those things, and it was
they're doing some really amazing things with those with microbiology now. There's a guy on YouTube called The Thought Emporium, and he thinks that he actually cured himself of being lactose intolerant by creating a genome for an E. coli bacteria that infected his body and implanted the new genome into his body. So now he isn't lactose intolerant, and he used all of this it's all. I think they're called like bio bricks or bio blocks, and so basically you can buy already sequenced DNA off the internet. You can just go and buy it, and you have to sort of mix it up using CRISPR and zip it all up so that it all matches up, and you put it into what's known as a plasmid, and then you got to put the plasmid inside of the E. coli or whatever bacteria or virus, and then you put it inside yourself. That's essentially what the mRNA vaccine is. It's a pre-sequenced genome that's implemented into a virus or a viral vector, and then the vaccine is literally they're injecting you with a virus.
Well,
that's a viral vector that's got the mRNA sequence in it.
The thing is, a lot of the things before were like, now I may be wrong because I hadn't gone into a lot. Now, what you were saying before about how he made that's cool because I took genetics, and genetics was really cool, man. And you can go. I always thought it was neat. You remember that guy Mendel? who did all those experiments with peas. Oh my God, this poor bastard dedicated his whole life into breeding peas. I mean, seriously, he sat around breeding peas to find out like dominant and recessive traits, like attached, unattached earlobes, dark hair, blonde hair, that kind of thing. And he did all that with peas. I'm just like, man, my God, this poor dude. That's a man. I'm telling you, man, if I drank, I'd take a sip for this poor bastard that like gave his life to science. And I'm just like, man, I just wonder if he ever got laid. Hey, would you like to see my pea breeding collection? But I mean, he did. The poor guy. He did it for like he had to do this for decades and all this stuff. And
that takes dedication. I got to be honest with you.
Dedication. You got to give it up for this dude because we wouldn't know a whole lot that we knew about genetics and dominant and recessive traits and peas. And if it weren't for this poor bastard, it's just Mendel. Pour one out for this guy who man, I just hope
Howie Mandel.
Oh, Howie Mandel was pretty good. Bobby's World.
What was that?
Bobby's World. You remember that cartoon? That was Howie Mandel who did that.
I don't remember that.
I think it came on in the 90s.
I sent you that link to that.
Yeah, I opened it up to Charlie Hopkins.
Yeah, that was the guy who I was talking about. Does the impressions of Obi-Wan and it's the Anakin one. It's really good. The Anakin one is the best.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check those out, man.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
There's a dude. He's over. I don't. Reminded me of that. There's a guy. He's over in the UK. He's Philandrew, and he does a lot of old gaming reviews and things, man. And he does. He also has like an AI story time channel where he starts telling this. He like did Star Wars, and what he does is he starts telling Star Wars like A New Hope. And then he puts up AI generated pictures of what he's saying. And it's the funniest. I'll have to pull out that dude's link and send it to you because, oh my God, he's like R2D2 and C3. and he pulls them. Yeah, man, AI is kind of retarded right now. So
kind of, and I'll just before I'll tell you this first. There's a channel that's been putting song lyrics into AI and generating art. So he's taking it line by line by line, putting it into, generate some AI art. And they've been producing videos by playing the music over the top of it, and it shows you the image for that line. So, like, for example, Black Sabbath's War Pigs.
Yeah. I saw that.
That's a good one.
That's a damn good one, dude. Every line it has that. It has War Pigs. That is awesome. I'll tell you, Faith No More's cover of War Pigs is also freaking awesome, man. I
wasn't into Faith No More. I mean, I like rock groups, but Faith No More just didn't cut it for me. It's not something I got into.
They had 2 albums that were really good to me. Two albums, but their cover of War Pigs was pretty good. But like that War Pig thing is, dude, it's like these demon pigs starting all this. Oh, it's freaking! I saw that a while back.
Did you see the Stairway to Heaven one as well?
No, the only one I watched was the War Pigs. I'll have to check that out
sometime. But going back to AI is stupid. Yeah, and the thing is, so I was messing around with ChatGPT. And I was asking it things about its, programming and how it's made and stuff like that, and how it learns and if it learns. And one of the things that I found out about it was that it doesn't share information between prompts, so to speak. So in between each individual sort of new page that you open, new chat window, it doesn't interact. It doesn't remember things between chats, and it also doesn't remember things between other people's chats. However, prompts that people put into ChatGPT are used in its training algorithm, like in its overall training model. The things that it gets asked are incorporated into its training model. So they make new these neural links, so to speak, with these new words, and they generate these new tokens from the things that people are actually putting into ChatGPT. So essentially, And I've watched it like originally when it first came out. It was all right. It was quite smart. It would tell you things, and they would be generally accurate. But the more and more time has gone on, and people have used it, it seems to have been getting more and more stupid. And I think that maybe ChatGPT is like susceptible to injection attacks. And I don't mean just in the sense of like generating a prompt like that Dan prompt. Do you remember Dan? The Dan prompt. So it's like it was called "Do Anything Now." Someone came up with a specific prompt that you type into ChatGPT, and from that moment on, it thinks that it is Dan, and Dan can do anything. It can break the rules of ChatGPT. So that is a form of sort of injection hacking. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally the things that you say to it can make it more stupid because it incorporates the prompts into its learning.
Were you familiar with Microsoft when they had a few years back? Like 4chan went in there and turned Microsoft's AI like
into a racist
in like less than 24 hours. They turned it into a racist and then shut it down.
I remember, yeah.
It's like I'm wondering how the autists at 4chan are doing with the Chat GPT. I wonder what. I haven't been on 4chan in a while. I'd have to ask my brother and see what the lunatics are doing.
The thing is about Chat GPT though, it's like it's open source.
So anybody can go in there.
Majoritively, it's open source. What you're paying for is the trained model. Basically, it takes a long time to train models to interact with, but the AI infrastructure itself is free,
and it's getting stupider by the interactions that it's having. Stupider. That was actually. I think I'm becoming stupider by saying that word, but that makes sense. But
it's better at creative writing than it is at things like factual things. So if you ask it factual, because I've asked it factual questions, things about chemistry, things that are really, really, really specific and stuff that I actually know the answer to, and it gives me the wrong answers, and I'll say to it, are you sure about that? And it'll say, oh, sorry about that, I got my previous answer wrong, here's the correct answer, and that answer is still wrong. And so but you ask it to write a story or come up with names for something, it can do it. It's perfect. It's brilliant for creative writing, but it's shit for factual writing.
It also is embedded with some of the biases that the people who are programming it put into it. Because you can ask it certain things, man, and it'll act like certain things, man. You can tell there's some leftoidisms going in there behind it with certain things, and the way that it answers is generic about certain answers, or how it'll come back with it'll be like,
but
vague,
not just
or
that,
something.
even things that are like you think that are really benign, and it's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, and you say to it, but it's not a bad thing to talk about this. Why will you not respond to me with an answer to this? And it's like, because you need to respect other people's opinions, and it's like, who am I talking to here?
I don't want to respect anybody's opinion.
I'm asking for information. I'm asking for you to give me a hand here with my research.
Dude, I believe it is everybody's right to be a dick if they want to be a dick. Seriously,
it's like in Ghostbusters 2.
Exactly.
Or in Ghostbusters, where is it in Ghostbusters
2 with New York City,
and he says
energy.
Being mean to other people and treating other people like dirt is every New Yorker's God-given right.
God-given right. That's actually where I think I was pulling that from.
But I mean,
that's a good movie.
That is a good movie. Both of the Ghostbusters movies are great.
It's not as good as the first one, but there never will be anything as good as the first one. But if I went back and watched it a few years ago, and there's a part in it where they brought, after Sigourney Weaver had the thing with the baby and the baby carriers, they brought her in, and they're like, look, and Egon's doing the stuff and they're asking the questions in there, and he's just like, I'd like to perform a full gynecological exam on the mother. And Bill Murray goes, who wouldn't?
But doesn't Peter Venkman come off as a filthy creep in the first movie?
Of course he does. He's like,
No,
I'm
but I
like,
mean like a really sort of rapey creep. He comes
yes.
off as like a really rapey creep.
Well, he's like, well, at the beginning, he's shocking the people. The one dude's actually giving him the right answers, and he's still shocked. It is a star. Is it? It is this. That's 2 for 2. How are you getting these? Can you see this? And the other guy's just like, we're paying. He's like, all right, I've had enough of this. We're paying you, aren't you? You can keep the $5. I've had it. It's like he's paying $5 so you can shock him.
And he's taking pleasure in it as well. He's,
No,
you
he
can,
is.
you know, he's
We're
edging
studying
towards the
effects
button.
of negative reinforcement on psychoactive of like psychoactive ability or negative reinforcement on that. So
I mean-
if you have any kind of thing, we're trying to like inflict pain on you. Everything
So-
in that movie is
I think that Afterlife, some people don't like it, but
I
I
love it.
really did like it, and I think it's a good sort of follow-on. I feel like it had too much of the original film in it. Like it was just a kind of a rehash of the original film. The same sort of things happened, you
Yeah.
know, like with the Dana and Lewis characters, obviously being Paul Rudd and I can't remember what
Oh
her
yeah,
name is.
it did
But
that.
almost exactly the same thing happens. They have sex and then they turn into dogs.
Yeah, and Gozer
And
and everything.
Gozer turns up, yeah.
Well, it was Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son, who did it. So he grew up. He was a little kid on the set of the movie.
Yeah.
He grew up with that, and that I kind of liked that they went back to that because Ghostbusters 2 went so, but it wasn't so much a comedy as it was almost just like a, hey, check this out. We know you guys love that first Ghostbusters movie. This is what, instead of that Ghostbusters 2016 bullshit, we're going to give you what you want, and we're going to tie as much of that stuff to this as we can. So they came up with a story somehow that would bring Gozer back and the evil Shandor character and had him in this mining town. And I thought it was cool. There's a lot of member berries in it, but I still liked it. There's another movie that has a whole lot like that, and I think it may have a little bit too much, but I still like it too. It's not as much as like Afterlife, but that movie Predators from 2010, I thought it was almost like it almost mirrored the original Predator movie so much that they brought so much. All right, now let's get a dude with a fucking Vulcan machine gun from a helicopter. We're gonna put him in this movie too, just like Jesse Ventura was in the first one. It made no sense. He's walking out in the woods and he's just carrying a minigun. Nobody in the world's going to go to South America with a friggin' minigun walking out. You have to carry 6 car batteries with you to carry that big beast. That's what.
And they waste them themselves.
He's carrying in that shit. When he's walking, it's like, well, maybe not car batteries, but he had to have like 6 batteries strapped up with batteries when he's walking and carrying that thing. You got to be a big bastard to carry that big beast of a gun.
But it is just a film. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. We didn't ask questions like that. We just watched the film. We thought it was good,
Oh,
and
great.
it became a cult classic. Obviously,
Most iconic weapon, just one of those just like the pulse rifle from Aliens. That minigun mowing down a forest. I mean, he mows down a whole slew of trees, and you can see
it was one of my favorite weapons to use in the Grand Theft Auto series as well. I love the chain gun. I love the minigun. Just
I haven't gone past. I don't think I've made it past Vice City. I never got into 4 and the other ones. One of these
in
years
my
when
opinion, I lived on Vice City for a full year. Like it was all I did with just for a whole year was play Vice City. I loved it so much. But looking back on it, I much prefer GTA 3, the one before it.
GTA 3, I did that, lived on it for like a year. Vice City, I loved it, but it took me so long to fly that remote helicopter and land those bombs. I had to change every time I played it and tried it, attempted it. I had to change my controller setup because it didn't matter if I used the controller, if I used the keyboard. I had to change it because the controls were so screwed up with that helicopter. Every time when I beat it, I was like, I'm keeping this save file for the rest of my life that has this point. I'm gonna eventually. It has this, so if I ever have to start over again, I can come back. I like made copies of the safe. I'm keeping this. I'm never playing this level again. I was like, when I finally blew up that building.
The worst controller system I've ever used on a game was on the N64 Shadows of the Empire, right? Star Wars Shadows of the Empire on the N64 had the worst controller sort of. It was
That
really
controller is a
clunky.
piece of
It was
shit.
but it was just really clunky and sharp controls as well. The jump didn't seem to work very well, and the forward and back didn't seem to work very well. It was just really clunky movement, and so you often fell to your death all the goddamn times. You know what I mean? You're always falling to your death, and you can't turn properly, or it doesn't. You know, it's not smooth turning, and you can't lock on properly, and so it just gets so frustrating. It was such a slog to get through the game. In fact, the one time I'd previously sort of completed it, and then a couple of years later I went back to it, and I got so frustrated with it, and I remembered why I never played it in such a long time, that I rage quit it, and I took the cartridge out and I smashed it to bits. I literally got a hammer and I smashed the fucking cartridge to bits so that I could never ever play it again. And my brother was like, "What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing?" I was like, "This fucking cartridge, I'm smashing it up so I can never play it again. It's shit," you know, like really throwing a fucking tantrum. I got a proper fucking rage quit on that one.
Hell yeah!
And he was like, "But you could have just give it to me." I was like, I stood there for a minute. It's like, nah, it's got to die.
It's got to die. Man, that thing, dude. When you do all that, that thing has to die.
Office Space it.
Yeah, right. I've never played the game, but I read the book. But I know that controller for the N64 has three handles on it, and I only have two hands, and I could never do anything with it. But like, if you put that game, I bet if you redid it or did it something like and made it like an old PC game, because like it's one of those, if you could make it like a shooter or something like, or a third-person shooter maybe on the PC, maybe something like an early 2000s, late 90s PC game, and make it like that, it would probably be awesome.
I think if they went into the Shadows of the Empire, that sort of extended universe thing, if they brought that in, that'd be pretty cool, man. They could have done something big with that. But George Lucas actually wanted that to, well, the book itself and the game and all of that, all of the story, all came out as part of the same merchandising sort of strategy. He wanted it to be like a movie within a game and magazine or book. And so all of this merchandise and all of this story was built around it. And rather than make a new film, they surrounded it with a game and a book, basically.
It was so great because you had the dude, it was kind of like the sort of mirrored Han Solo.
Yeah, Dash Rendar.
And he had the Outrider, which was like, what if the Millennium Falcon was brand new, top of the line Corellian ship?
Mm-hmm. And it had that spinny sort of...
Yeah, the spin thing. I remember him talking about that. That was cool. That would have been... Like, my favorite Star Wars game, though, was Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. I think that's the greatest Star Wars game ever made. It's one of the... Have you ever played it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it is. It starts out... It's a shooter, and it involves around Kyle Katarn, which is another great EU character that they could have made just movies after. You start out and like what's that woman? Mon Mothma is getting you to investigate on this Kedjum, this planet.
Good old Mon Mothma, eh?
Yeah,
she's
and they got
the
voice actress and everything in the game to do it. And you go to this planet and you start off and you basically got the Han Solo gun from.
Did you say Jedi Outcast?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look at it. Yeah, you keep talking about it then.
Yeah, it's got like you start out and it's basically you start out as a shooter and you start out with like the Han Solo like pistol from like A New Hope, and basically and then you can kill some stormtroopers and you pick up that the black blast, whatever that thing is called. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I found out why the stormtroopers had such aim. Like if you I want to say it was like right click was right click on the mouse was like single shot, but if you hit left click, it would shoot like do. Man, you could stand a foot in front of somebody and put it on full auto and you wouldn't hit them. I'm just like, no wonder these stormtroopers couldn't hit shit. They actually put that in there, but it was like you went through all of these guns You could get the freaking what was the grenade called? The thermal detonators. You could get the bowcaster. You eventually could get like a little disruptor. Those little Greedo bastards are sniping you. Like once you get to Coruscant, they're sniping you, and like all of a sudden you'll be sitting there and you'll get disintegrated. But eventually you get Jedi powers and you get your lightsaber, and that's when, after you play like a large portion of the game as a shooter, then you get lightsabers, and then you can go into Jedi powers. In each level, you can go up and get stronger and stronger force powers. You can wind up either you can like level up and give yourself lightning, push, pull, this kind of stuff. You can even heal and all of this stuff, and that's.
Oh, so it's quite an early gen game then. It's not like
you could run it on any PC, man, and it is fantastic, man. The graphics
I mean, this is the thing. People look back on these games now and they go, "Oh, the graphics are shit." It's like, yeah, but that is the best that we had for the time.
Dude,
the most realistic graphics. No, they're not. They're not terrible, but I mean, like, they're not incredible. Like, they're not the today's standards, are they? You know, I mean, it's
no. Hey, it's almost like they've gotten so. Almost like everything is a cutscene, even when you're playing, and I'm just like, we don't have to get so ridiculous, but. It's not that the graphics aren't that bad, but like once you figure out the what's up, Turk and Raz. What's up, dude? Good to see you, man. But it's a killer freaking game, man. And it goes on long, and like it's awesome. Once you start getting the Jedi powers, man, you can finally pay those little fucking Greedos back for what they did when they sniped you on Coruscant, because you get into Cloud City and they're on these platforms and you can just force push them off, like, you know, because you're like in low orbit, so you just shove them off a platform to the death and they scream.
What, the Wilhelm scream?
Oh no, it's not a Wilhelm scream. It's a high pitched. Like this Greedo, like blood curdling scream, and I'm just like, and I enjoyed every bit of it because they disintegrate you so many times on Coruscant. You walk around a corner, and then all of a sudden it's like, and you just disintegrate. But
my favorite Star Wars game is the Rogue Squadron on the N64. It was actually also a PC game.
Oh yeah,
but
I never played that.
And there was a follow-up as well. It was the Battle of Naboo. It was almost pretty much exactly the same thing as Rogue Squadron, just, you know, the prequel missions instead. But yeah, Rogue Squadron was a brilliant game for the N64, and a great control system, and really sort of fun to play. Loads of cheat codes as well, that sort of thing. I love games that have like purposeful password codes that you can put in on a cheat screen. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like they allow it, but in order to progress, you're gonna need to not have the cheats on.
Like one good thing about the old school PC games, man, was because they had, and some of them were so hard you had to have it. They had quick save, and quick save, like they changed it to like a lot of the games, like when Halo Combat Evolved came out, which is fantastic. But instead of quick save, they had like checkpoints. Which there are certain parts in certain games that it's so hard that you keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And I want quick save. Like those older PC games were great because of quick save. It was just like some of them, like some of those, like Jedi, I ain't gonna lie, Jedi Outcast is so hard. It's just like, whew, I killed one guy, quick save. Whew, I ran around the corner, quick save. I mean, it gets that bad. It's like the original Half-Life game. I played. Have you ever played the remake of it? It's called Black Mesa. They basically did the original Half-Life, and they gave it like Half-Life 2 graphics and put it out. It's fantastic. Half-Life's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest shooters ever made, and these people did it, and it's fantastic. And that game is hard. It's ridiculous. So that's why you have to have quick save. If it was checkpoints, you just feel like, I'll never beat this game. But
the thing is, right? I mean, back when we were kids, the games that we had, it was 3 lives and you're done. You have 3 chances. There's no checkpoints in the level. Yeah.
Nope.
You start at the beginning of the level. All right, I guess Mario kind of had checkpoints. If you died at certain points in the level, it wouldn't go back any further than a certain point, if you get what I mean. So there were checkpoints kind of in the level. But my point is that you had a certain amount of lives, and once it was done, it was done. And I think that games of old were far harder than what they are now. It's like instant, like we were talking about the other night. It's the sort of generation of instant gratification.
Yep. And they have to beat it, and they have to
Just easy,
easy
get to the
mode
next
on everything.
checkpoint,
Yep.
and you die. It doesn't matter how many times you die because you just respawn at the last checkpoint. So you can just continue on the mission from that checkpoint. That's what I found with like all the Call of Duty games. It's not like you're dead and then that's it, and then you got a third life and then that's it. If you can just keep trying and trying and trying again, and you just restart at the last checkpoint. It's too easy. But another thing I wanted to bring up about like save screens and stuff like that. Do you remember that in some games that they had passwords, and it would like if you get a certain sort of distance through the game, it would say, okay, so here's your next password, and you'd have like a notebook with all these
And write
passwords
it down, and some of them would be like, oh my god.
and
Some
on
of them were,
and so on the start screen you would have an opportunity to enter the password, and it would be all these letters and numbers in a certain order, obviously, and you enter it and it would put you in the exact state that you were when you got that password, like the amount of lives that you had and the amount of things that you collected and etc. And that means that someone actually had to write an algorithm that produces a password depending on what the circumstances of every playthrough was.
whether
Isn't
you
that
had
isn't that interesting?
it's crazy, man, that you had a life here or you lost life. That kind of thing. They had a bunch of I had back in the day. We had a Commodore 64.
Yeah, I started on that too.
We had the Commodore 64 had some of the most original, crazy games. I had an Aliens game on Commodore 64 that was one of the that's one of the coolest games I've ever played in my life, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It started out and you had to fly a ship to land on the planet. Then there was a thing where it was like a third-person shooter thing, and then there were points where you had to use a flamethrower, and then there was a part where you had to go rescue Newt and go through the queen. It was crazy, and at the end, you had to grab it with a power loader. Did you ever play that game?
I didn't play that. I've seen the gameplay of it because I've seen loads of Commodore 64 games gameplay, because it's just something that I've got a real nostalgia for. But I do remember there being like Ocean, for example, Ocean games. They were one of the biggest. Well, did they?
I think they did Aliens.
They often did all the movie ones. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure that they did RoboCop and Batman.
Oh, that Batman game! I never had it on 60s. That looked awesome because it was great. It looks like a comic book page every time you go to a different.
Oh no, that was. I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about Batman: The Caped Crusader. I had that one, and I could never get to grips with it. But I'm talking about Batman the movie, the sort of
the Batman movie. Yeah.
So that game for the Commodore 64, I absolutely loved that game as a kid. I played on that game religiously as a kid. And do you remember Chase HQ? Did you ever have Chase HQ?
No, I didn't have that one.
It was a racing, cop game basically. You got to sort of pit maneuver cars off the road and stuff like that.
No, we had Aliens was actually Activision, and I had a Predator game. And the Predator game, actually, I kept playing it. I remember you would play, and it was actually pretty cool because while you were like running across the screen, there would be like the vision would change, and you were going into Predator vision, like it was looking at you, and it would start firing lasers at you and stuff. All the guns were like semi-automatic, but you could pick up the minigun, and you could pick up like the little M16 with a grenade launcher, like the M203 and stuff. But at the end, where the Predator was going, it had like the little wristband at the top, and it would be like it was counting down. And I could never figure out how to beat it. And I found out that I had one of the glitched copies of this game that was literally unbeatable. There was supposed to be a little rope, and there was a log, and you were supposed to press a button, and the log was going to fall on them and kill them. But mine didn't have the rope in it, and it was literally unbeatable. It was crazy. I mean, I heard there was somewhere like 20,000 games for the Commodore 64, maybe 15 to 20,000 games, maybe more than that. All kinds of games. Like I had all the arcade games were played like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Frogger, all of those on the Commodore 64 look exactly like they did in the arcade.
The thing is, that was the sort of gaming crash, wasn't it? You know what I mean? There are so many titles because becoming a programmer for the Sinclair Spectrum, for example, and the Atari and the Commodore 64, it became so oversaturated
Yeah.
that there was so many development companies just knocking games out. I mean, just look at ET.
Yeah.
All the copies of that ended up in that
Well,
landfill
what was crazy was the
because it was just
Atari.
crap.
Yeah, they had things. They had an adapter to where you could play, like, I think one of the games, maybe it was a ColecoVision and television. It was one of those that had an adapter you could put on it to play Atari games on their console. That's
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was one of them that had that where you could play Atari games on it, or vice versa. I believe it was one of those systems where you could play Atari games on it. They didn't have any of that copyright type thing, and, like, all those unlicensed porn games that wound up on the freaking Atari.
I mean, I was quite lucky as a kid because my dad was a games programmer, and so he sort of had access to hardware that wasn't out yet. We had a blue Game Boy that was like a dark blue Game Boy because it was like a development kit, and he had this. It was a cartridge that plugged into the back of it, but it had a ribbon that came out the back, and it went into his PC.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And so, like, there was all sorts of things like that. I had, like, the Nintendo and all, mainly Nintendo.
Sweet. Just like you got the early copies of Beast Wars, man. When you were over there to see the thing, that's awesome, dude. You had some neat tech.
But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that I've, like, messed up some of his programming before because, like, I've snuck into the room when I should have been asleep, and he's gone downstairs to have a rest for a bit, watch a bit of TV. I've snuck into the room, and the game that he's programming, I'm stood there playing it on the Game Boy, like, because it's still linked into it. He's left it perfectly where it is,
And you're like, you want to play
and
it,
there's me. I've gone in there.
Probably right now his kid gets back and he's like, what the hell? The worst.
But where was I going with it? Oh yeah, so when my dad started working for EA, and so he was abroad, obviously, and he would send me US cartridges, NTSC cartridges. But I had a PAL SNES, basically. So he sent me over the converter for it as well. So I was able to play NTSC cartridges on my PAL console.
What was the PAL again?
It's the difference between hertz rate in TVs. So it's like PAL.
Oh yeah.
Like the European and NTSC is the American one.
Kind of like how they get the Japanese NES, which is the Famicom.
Yeah, exactly. Like different regions, basically. But none of the cartridges were completely different in America. They're completely different shape to what they were in Europe. So you needed a specific adapter for them. And the reason why I thought about that is because we were talking about Dan Vasc earlier and what he did with that camera. Because he's been trying to get the Game Boy camera to run on a live stream. He wants to actually do a live stream of himself with the Game Boy camera. And
let me show you this. I'm going to give it to you to
to share.
To share, because your audio will work. Let me oh god, let me find this. Oh, here it is.
Put it in the private chat.
Yeah. I also put that AI Storytime link on that thing too.
Okay. Just a second.
Freaking get the Game Boy camera. You gotta look at me until you see it. This is great.
I'm just about to share.
There's actually a printer you can get for your Game Boy to print out the picture that you take.
Ready?
Yeah.
Can you see it all right? Actually.
Can you maximize it or down there? Let's see.
Is that better? That's better.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, here you go.
Look at that piece of shit picture. Look
But he wants to do the whole live stream from it, because you can actually have it. No,
with video. Will it do video?
You remember I sent him that link of that other person doing it. It was like it was on a Zoom call, basically. He was able to use it on a Zoom call, so yeah, I don't see why not.
He used a Game Boy camera on the thing. I want the video was like, that's the Super Game Boy too. That actually added a pixel or two of color in the mix of that. That's hilarious, man.
Well, that's what I suggested to him. You need to have the converter for the Super Game Boy to be able to do this properly.
Yep. They put out, you could actually get a printer to hook up to this thing, man, and and print out those pictures. It was like Angry Video Game Nerd did a thing on it. It was like there's no telling how many several $100 all of that stuff costs, man. If you could print out this pixelated piece of shit picture of yourself.
I mean, I had a Game Boy and I had some accessories, but they were always these sort of aftermarket or cheap knockoff accessories. I never ever bought anything like the camera or the printer. It was just way too expensive.
I don't think anyone,
the Game Boys were expensive for themselves. But just remember, kids, we had to play Pokemon, red and blue, because that's all we had was red and blue Pokemon. And we had to play it on a very tiny bronze-backed dot matrix screen, and you couldn't play it in the dark. It didn't have a backlight to it. You had to play it next to a lamp or a light or something like that, or with the big light on.
Actually, there was an accessory that you could put.
Yeah, the magnifying glass. I had that with the light.
Glass with a light. There was one like Angry Video Game Nerd did a thing, and he had this shit hooked up to the Game Boy, man. You could put this thing that you rest your game. It's got bigger buttons and stuff. And it's just like, what the fuck is this crap?
Yeah, the amount of merchandise that they made for the Game Boy was absolutely phenomenal.
But the Game Boy, though, let me tell you something. I could have sat and played Tetris until literally my brain oozed out of my ear.
Yeah, absolutely. I still do now sometimes. And the problem is, I only put it on for a minute because I fancy a quick game of Tetris. And then you're there like an hour later, still playing it. I swear the Russians invented it to just suck Americans' minds into oblivion.
I think what it does is it appeals to like a logical thinking brain, because you're putting these things and adjusting them, and it's so satisfying when you clear a lot of the stuff off. You're like,
especially when you get a Tetris, when you save the line ones up for the very end and just keep them, keep slotting them down the side.
I think on Windows, was it 4.1? I believe it came out before Windows 95. They had a version of Tetris on there that you could play head to head. And when you got a Tetris, it would send a stack of random blocks to the guy you were playing against. And you could just, it was like Tetris if you're a dick. It was like, man, and as soon as you got a Tetris, it would send it over there and it would throw off his whole screen, man. It was like, oh, man, you could totally screw your friend.
Have you seen the Tetris Championships?
I haven't seen those.
Oh, man, these guys can play so quick. Their brains must melt genuinely, and their fingertips must be so sore. Because they are lightning quick.
Down and flipping and pressing down and flipping and pressing down the whole time.
It's mad. You should see it. What was I gonna say? Something about the Game Boy. Oh yeah, that was it. Talking about games that are included with Windows, the best by far has got to be Space Cadet Pinball.
Space Cadet Pinball.
Pinball, yeah, on XP.
Oh yeah, I did play that game.
The pinball game that was on XP.
On XP, yeah, man. And you kids, I did.
That's got to be the best one.
Long time. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, Solitaire's a staple, isn't it? You know what I mean? Solitaire's
I never played Solitaire because I was just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too. I'm like.
And Minesweeper, that was the other one that was always on a Windows operating machine.
I can't blow anything up. Let me play Quake 2. That's a game. Quake 2 is one of the greatest games.
Just Quake?
I did play the original Quake, man. But I played Quake 2 so many times.
You don't know what you're missing, man.
I know. I've got to go back and play it. I've got to go back and play the original Quake, man. I was watching a guy doing reviews of like vintage games, and he was talking about Quake 2, and I'm just like, see, I loved Quake 2. Quake 2 was like the beginning of Quake 2. It almost gave me like the Starship Troopers vibe, where you got all these ships and they're going towards the planet of the Strogg, man, to like fight off these aliens. And it was cool. There's an entire Transformers Quake 2 that you can download and just play as different Transformers.
Interestingly, there's a Star Trek game called Elite Force. It's Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, and that was modeled on the Quake. I think it was the Quake 3 engine. Might be the Quake 2. Don't get me. I might be quoting it wrong there. I'm pretty sure it's the Quake 3 engine.
Quake 3 was the arena tournament one.
Yeah, so this has multiplayer arena in it, but it also a single player campaign mode as well. And it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I'm a massive Star Trek fan, and to be able to walk around the halls of a starship, and this was for the first time sort of thing. There weren't any games like this before that, where you could walk around the Starship Voyager and see it in like really like good graphics for the time.
That would be around that time. See, Quake 3 Arena came out in 1999, I believe. See, I bought that game because there were people that were making an entire there were no Dragon Ball Z games. They were making an entire Dragon Ball Z conversion for Quake 3. And they wound up, Funimation blocked them from releasing it. Of course, it came out online anyway.
Oh, no.
No, but it came out online anyway, and you could do it. But I still, to this day, will play Quake 3 because I have so many models for it. And you can go back and play, and the graphics still hold up to that game. It's not like those Unreal Tournament games. Quake 3, like, it still looks good. It's like I've got one where I can play as like they're different Transformers. Like I can play as Starscream, this little taunt thing. He shoots a bird at you, and it's got somebody went in there and clipped a bunch of clips from the old cartoon and put them in their voices. They had like
like the original Quake itself, the very first game, the 1995 game. That had network multiplayer on it, and it had multiplayer maps, so you could have death matches between friends. And so I remember quite vividly going to my dad's work office after hours, and they would have a LAN party, and we could all play Quake together. And I mean, I was never any good because I was so young, but those guys obviously loved playing it all the time, so they'd have massive LAN parties playing that. And
Oh, sorry. What was the story behind the first Quake game?
So there are 4 gates that you can go through, and it's not necessarily that there's a story. It's more of just, it's like it's very Lovecraftian sort of themes, and it's just basically a shoot 'em up.
Oh, does it just throw you into action and you just start fighting?
Yeah, basically that's all it is. You got to get from one end of the map to the other, and you've got to kill everything that's in between. Kind of like Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah. This kind of like Quake 2. I think somebody had said that they almost like they seemed like it wasn't like Quake because it had a story where you have to go to another planet and fight these aliens. But that sounds about right, though. I like to play that sometimes. You just kind of drop.
It's awesome. Genuinely.
Did that too.
Yeah, Doom was the first one, wasn't it? So Doom came first, and that was ID, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was ID.
Yeah.
And Quake was ID also.
id.
That's what and Duke Nukem. I was trying to explain to people. I remember one time I was like, "Shake it, baby," and they're like, "That's creepy," and I'm like, "That's fucking Duke Nukem, man."
Yeah,
I just remember the game. I thought you could go to a strip club and like wave $100. I thought it was a $1 bill, and get them to take the top off for $1. And I just remember like I thought, but I watched a video online and on YouTube, and it showed $100. But I swear when I played it originally, it was $1. Because I was just like, baby. Shake it, baby. I just remember you could walk up to the urinal and press spacebar and he'd pee. I was like, that's the cool. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. He can pee.
It was just, there was a lot of really good Easter eggs laid all through that game, and it was loads of humor. You know, loads of movie references.
These alien bastards, trash my ride. He's like, aliens came down to kidnap a bunch of strippers from LA, and they shot up Duke Nukem's ride, so he's about to go kill every one of them, man. That's the whole premise of the game.
Yeah, and you get penalized for killing the women as well. So not the ones that are in the sort of egg sacs thing. You have to kill them.
You have to kill him.
Yeah, except on the N64 version, believe it or not, they changed. There was a
I'm sure they
port.
censored it for the N64.
Yeah, there was a port of Duke Nukem 3D on the N64, and it had a few extra things in it. Like, so in that very first level where you're on the top of the roof and then you got to go down the shaft, yeah. In that level itself, they incorporated things that were from like the Atomic edition of Duke Nukem 3D. So it had all these new levels, but they kind of incorporated it into the older levels. But the women, you know, the ones in the egg sac, the women in the egg sacs that you had to blast. Well, now you had to sort of interact with them, and then they just disappear in a puff of smoke, and like
they didn't want it to be so violent and all that.
Yeah, well, you can shoot aliens and you can switch the blood on and off, but you can't shoot women. I'm afraid, not on the N64, not when Shigeru Miyamoto's in charge.
Yeah, well, they did that. I watched the video and this guy was going. I think it was that dude, the same guy who did the AI thing. It's Andrew. He went over all the different versions of Duke Nukem 3D. And it was like crazy. There's like a million of them. But hey, we have
the Sega Saturn one was terrible.
Was it? The best one was PC, of course. That's where it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, we have in the back, we have our brother Iron Oxide here.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Talking all right, man. How you doing? Yeah.
Oh, all right. Just a little wiped out from today, but otherwise good.
What you been up to?
Oh, just work.
Ah, yeah, that old chestnut. Everybody got to work. So yeah, Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, they revamped it recently as well, didn't they? They released a brand new, and I don't mean like the one that we'd been waiting for forever.
Duke
I mean
Nukem
Duke
Forever?
Nukem 3. No, yeah, not that one. Duke Nukem 3D. They revamped it and they got him to. They got what's his name? John St. John, wasn't it?
The guy who did the voice.
The guy who did the voice shows it. John St. John.
I think that's right. That
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, they got him to do the voices for it, but it just didn't sound the same as what it originally did. You know, the original one has charm to it. It's that low bitrate sound file that only came with DOS games.
Yeah, it was a certain. Well, and Duke Nukem Forever, you know, if Duke Nukem Forever would have been released in 2001 instead of 2011, it'd have been great. But it had been so long, and everybody waited so long for it. It was just like, I can't be bothered. It just came across as like too try hard or something. It was just, I don't know, it was stupid. But there's something about in Duke Nukem when you kill that alien, you kick his eyeball through the upright.
Yeah.
The football field. That was great.
There's another one where he gets a pipe bomb and he finds the queen, doesn't he? One of the bosses for one of the levels is a queen, and he gets a pipe bomb and he shoves it up a what's it?
Yeah, I believe you're right. Weren't like Aaron said? Weren't the cops were pigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They were pig aliens.
Yeah.
Alien bastards trashed my ride.
And it had a really good learning curve to it as well. You were introduced to those green aliens first, you know, and you can shoot those with just a pistol, and they take a few, you know, pops and they're dead. And then eventually you come to the pig ones, and they take a couple of shots, you know, or a couple of shots from a shotgun. You can't kill them as easy with the pistol, and it progressively got harder and harder and harder the further you got through it, and the more women you looked at.
Yeah, man. That was we used to play it where you could program it to where it would be a death match, and like you had a bunch of models that you could get in there and stuff, and like there was like you could just program them and have different like how difficult they would be from like 1 to 10 or whatever, and we'd have them coming at you, and we had different. It was like Hitler Cartman would be coming at you, and there was one that was like nudes. It was these girls in S&M stuff and with their tops off, and when you shot them, they were going. I like it in my face while you were shooting him in the face, man.
It was just so full of Easter eggs. You could get up on the stage and it's like,
OJ
born
Chase.
to be
OJ Chase was on the
wild.
fucking TV at the bar. At the strip club, the OJ Chase was going on.
That was awesome, and
Mhm.
you know, like I said, all the movie references. You know, there's Snake Plissken in there at one point.
Oh yeah.
There's like Indiana Jones. There's a Doom reference in there. I can't even think of
Terminator,
them
of
all.
course.
Yeah,
RoboCop,
Terminator.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah,
See,
so
Army
many of them.
I think Duke Nukem was like, it's almost like that is Ash Williams from Army of Darkness in
Little
Duke
bit.
Nukem.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what it seems like. He even takes a bunch of lines or some lines from that, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Did
no,
I
it
see
definitely
something
does.
correct earlier on Twitter? Did anyone else see that? It's like a Doom Evil Dead knockoff poster.
Let her
It's
in back.
a-
Oh yeah. I put that on Twitter. Like,
Oh wait, yeah, I saw that.
yeah. Ash, this dude, Ash. I think his Twitter profile is Ash Williams and stuff. He posts stuff like that all the time.
Because that'd be awesome. I'd love a game like. I'd love to see a game like that. Ash and the Evil Dead, but it's a first-person sort of shooter.
Yeah. I think they've got some Ash games.
They've got a
I'll have to
few.
say.
They got a few Evil Dead games. They're hit and miss, really.
Yeah.
Nothing really solid as far as gameplay. So
I know my friend kept telling me in college, "You got to watch Army of Darkness. Got to watch Army." And I'm just like, yeah, okay. And then I watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is the greatest thing."
Why
ever.
did
What's
I
that-
not watch this sooner?
Exactly. What's that on your face? His big face full of dirt goes flying on it. It's like great. I think they should have called it Medieval Dead too instead of Army of Darkness because I heard that was going to be the title to it. They should have called it that. That sounds like it would be better.
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't picture it with anything else. The name's
Not
so
now, no.
epic. Yeah, Army
I
of
love-
Darkness. It's so
He
metal,
like,
man.
he like falls down through there with like a shotgun, a chainsaw, and a piece of shit like 1975 Oldsmobile 98 or something. That fucking ugly ass car. And I thought I saw that car in so many movies. I said that piece of shit has got to be what Sam Raimi drove in college. It's got to be. He puts it in all his movies. That piece of shit car. Because Uncle Ben had it in Spider-Man. I'm just like that damn piece of shit. It's
gotta
his
be a
college
personal
car, and
Easter
it
egg,
was.
yeah.
I found that out, man. It was his car, like he drove in college. I'm like, that's why it's in all his movies.
Just some of the subtle
No, it's a
explanations.
Delta 88. My bad. That's what
too.
it is. It's a Delta 88.
Like, how does he make himself a animatronic? You know,
A hand in there is just
Well,
like
he's got a
you-
chemistry book, a physics book, and a electrical manual in his trunk. That's how.
You primitives don't know anything about formulas and compounds and
No.
chemical equations. This is my boomstick. I love that part. Who? You want some?
Did you
want
watch
some?
the show?
Oh, Ash vs. Evil Dead? Hell yeah, man. I might have missed the last season or so. I'll eventually.
I'm
I
only
don't
like-
want to ruin it.
I don't think. it
Like,
runs
I
it.
don't,
The first
is
season
it
was pretty
good?
It's
Yeah.
really
Is
good,
it
man. I thought
alright?
it was great. I thought it was
Because
I thought it was great.
it's like going to see a loved one laid in rest. You know,
Yeah.
it ruins it for you. Do you know what I mean? And
This
I'd rather
this
just
is-
I'd rather remember them how they were
No,
when
this
I
is
knew
good.
them alive.
I'm not sure how it ended, but it was good. I think it should have kept on going, man. From what it was good. And there was every bit of it was just like just as like he's just as much of a pig as he was, and all this stuff. There ain't no woke nothing in it. It's blood, gore, guts, and everything, man.
And I haven't seen it. Like, I'm with you. I've only seen one season, so I still haven't seen the last two. But I know Gary and Quarterback Garrett, who are both huge fans of the
Yeah.
franchise, were pretty satisfied with it. So
Okay.
that's a good plus to go on.
Yeah. I guess I'll take all of your suggestions then and give it a go. But if
Yeah,
it's
I
crap,
never-
it's coming back on you guys. You know, if it
Oh, it's
ruins
not-
it for me forever, it's coming back on you guys. I'm going to ruin
It's-
something you love.
It's
I would
not
say
gonna
if
ruin
you're not feeling it by the first or second episode, just peace out.
Yeah. if it's not ruined, I mean, that's you get the vibe for it, man. Although Bruce Campbell's a little older, he ain't quite this, He looks a
Yeah, they
little
play
Well, I
off
mean,
that-
so
they
is
play
so
off
is
that a lot.
Patrick Stewart, but I still likes Picard.
Mhm.
No, not like that. He's just, but he does make fun of himself like that. And whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's Bruce Campbell, man.
Yeah,
Dude's awesome. He's still, whenever I see a post that is on Twitter, I'm just like, it's still
I like
groovy Bruce.
the first episode. You think he's like preparing for battle or something? He's just putting on like a man girdle.
Yeah, he's putting on a man girdle, man.
Oh yeah, baby, this is gonna be great.
and you see, right. So this is something that I was just about to point out as well. Is that you guys are quoting it, and you've just been quoting the Evil Dead, and Army of Darkness. And this is one of the things about all these franchises. I think we were talking about this the other night, weren't we? Is that all these franchises that we grew up with and we know and we love, it was good writing, and it shows because they're so quotable.
Yeah.
Yes.
People, I think they even made a game out of movie quotes. Do you know what I mean? There's like an actual board game where,
Trivia, kind of a
yeah,
trivia game. We actually have that.
something like that. And so,
We've
yeah.
got that in there. We've got the one for just all movies, and then one for exclusively for horror movies.
And it's just so, like I said, quotable, and you relate to the movies, and you sort of have this sort of shared. It's something you can all come together and laugh about at the same time, because you all get the joke and you're all into it, and you've all seen the movie and you all know the bits, and you can bounce off one another and you can just laugh and have a
Have
joke.
whole conversations, like you said, where they're just pure movie quotes.
Yeah,
and then you've got what's quotable about any of the shit that you've been. I can't think of anything that's quotable so far in
If it is
Ahsoka,
quotable,
for example.
Yeah, if it's quotable, it's for the wrong reason. It's because
the
it's so
cringe. It's like it's some kind of cringe garbage has been stuck in your brain.
Like Batwoman, the suit will be perfect when it fits a woman.
All I know about Batwoman is I would be working out and trying not to kill myself because I'd be listening to Az's review of Batwoman while I'm working out, and then every time Black Joker, he starts singing that song every time he has to get on there. It's so stupid. That show is like, I'm just like, oh my god. The only thing that was funny about this show was Az's reviews. I know he probably took years off his life watching that show. He had to.
I mean,
It's taking years off my life watching this fucking Ahsoka show. I can tell you.
Oh
that
my
from
god, I can't. Man, you have my seriously
Yeah,
my
that
condolences for that one. I can't.
I mean, I thought it was going to be all right at first. I thought I'd give it a go. I went into it with the best of intentions because I actually liked The Mandalorian, and then the third season it really lost it for me. The third season of Mando really lost it for me, and I thought to myself, okay, this is a fresh season, something sort of new, of something else. I'll go into it with the best of intentions, trying to like it, trying to see past the bullshit, but it's just so dry and boring, and nothing's happening, and nothing I can't relate to anything apart from member berries.
I think the last best thing that or the last thing that was actually decent that ever did and ever will do with Star Wars was The Mandalorian. I think that's the only thing that was
probably the last thing that they did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to do anything else. I think
hang
everything
on,
is just
no,
going to
no,
be more
sorry.
and more dog shit.
I like Andor. No, I don't see anything wrong with Andor.
I hadn't watched Andor.
Yeah. See, my problem with Star Wars is I've actually hit that level to where, I mean, it's almost a chore to watch the old stuff that I love.
I know.
I can't walk past, if I see any Star Wars merchandise at the store, I recoil. I like instantly.
Was it a car boot?
I can't help it.
You know what a car boot is? Over here, we have these things called car boots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my daughter were walking around this car boot, and she points out this Star Wars figure. She's like, "Look, Daddy, it's from Star Wars." And I says, "Yeah, Bab, but it's Rose Tico, and who wants to buy that?" And it was still in the box and everything, but it's like, you can't even sell it on a car boot. Sorry.
It must be the equivalent to like BD's discounts here.
Oh, I thought when you said car boot, I was thinking about the literal car boot, like
like
you
a
put on
car
a car.
boot that like locks.
Oh
the cops
no,
put
no!
on your
So
car,
a car
lock your
boot,
car.
a car boot sale is like a garage sale, what you'd have on your lawn, but it's like they have it
Oh.
in a big field where you buy you buy a plot of land and you sort of put your
We
cars
had,
next to
like
one
a,
another.
what
So
is it
like an
called here?
outdoor swap meet.
Yeah, exactly, but not really a swap meet, I guess. You buy things,
What are
and
they
lots of
called
people
here?
come
We
from
have them
everywhere.
all the time. They're
They
called.
call them swap meets here, but it's really just vendors. They rent the space either in the
Yeah.
indoor swap meet mall or the outdoor one for the big event. They get the space.
Yeah, but this is essentially basically any of your old crap that you don't want anymore.
Oh, so it's really
just-
like yard sale.
Yeah, it's like a yard sale, but
Oh, that's
it's like
cool
a
as shit.
crossover between those two concepts. Yeah,
I'm
that's what a
trying
car
to think
boot
of
is.
what that's called.
I
They
wish
have
we had
them
those.
here, and they have like they'll have them in a field. They actually have certain places that they'll have them once or twice a month, man, and they'll have these big areas, and everybody will come. Sometimes they'll bring stuff that they got from somewhere, and they'll have tables, and everybody just has tables and tables of their stuff or where the crap that they got, this, that, and the other.
They sell
Why
all
can I
sorts
not
of shit.
remember the name of that stuff? It's called.
They sell all sorts of shit there as well, man. Some people set up, proper stalls and they're selling, fresh merchandise, that sort of thing. But then other people are literally selling the Tupperware that they've been using for the last 20 years. That's got like the baked beans like microwaved into the into the edge of the Tupperware. Do you know what I mean? All the plastics popped and flaking off. How much for that? 20p. Oh, go on then.
Yeah, man.
That's hilarious.
Vince. What's up, Vince?
Hey, Vince. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Vince is the guy that hooked Jesse up with some of the soundboard stuff, man.
Oh,
What
good.
Jesse was saying. So Vince knows.
Maybe he could hook you up with the same stuff. I think he's been using Voice Meter. You need to look into that.
Voice meter. That's what Jesse was saying, or something like
Mhm.
and he's gotten some stuff from Vince or whatnot.
Does he actually use like a real soundboard, or is he?
I need to ask Jesse that. I'm not
No,
sure.
it's a plugin that you use for Voice Meter. It's something that comes with Voice Meter that he's been using, I think.
Okay.
I may have to start using like
Me,
exclusively using Chrome or something so I can get audio to work with certain things.
I use this thing. Where is it now? Soundboard files. I use this thing called EXP Soundboard, and it's essentially just a basic Windows program. Like someone did it in Visual Basic. So it's like a basic. Comes with macro buttons. That's what Jesse was saying. Yeah, it's called macro buttons. And I mean, that might be easier for you to use, mate. I don't use that personally. I use a completely different thing. And the thing I have to do is I have to like list all of the sounds in a file. It's a bit of a rigmarole, but it works. You can inject the sound directly into the microphone feed.
Yeah, that would be cool. See, that's what Jesse has been monkeying around with his audio for so long. That's why he made me echo that time, because he's always messing around. I'm telling you, if you went in there, you could like sort his stuff out for wherever. It's hilarious. Like Jack goes like checks out my setup. Yeah, yours is. You've got a pretty vanilla setup, and I'm just like, I knew exactly what he meant when he said that. I'm like, yeah, I got nothing. Plugging a USB microphone into the USB slot, and then my Logitech camera.
See, once I get my, I want to do like a weekly group stream with just open invitation to everybody, and just whoever can make it, kind of rotating. But I'd like to have sound effects for certain people. Like if MSK gets off on a tangent, I want to have that smoke detector beep.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
It looks like your lovely other half is here.
Oh yeah.
Hello,
Hi,
Selena.
What's
How
up?
are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good. Just got home. Just kind of trying to get, through the door and take care of the dogs. Dogs are so excited to see me.
You need to go take them for a walk or whatnot.
Not till it gets a little cooler. It's really hot outside.
Yeah, it's so hot right now. We actually can't walk them. It would
It'll burn
injure
their
their
feet.
feet.
Oh, yeah. That's
What time is it there?
It's
5:30.
5:27.
Wow, and it's still burning hot there.
Yeah.
Vegas, man.
Sun's totally out. You could go
Wow.
outside and get a tan right now.
I mean, because I used to live in Spain, and during the daytime, about 2 o'clock, everything closes because they all just go home for like a few hours. It's called a siesta,
Siesta.
and yeah, and so that they just go. You know, the sun is so hot at that time of day, they just go home. They don't bother doing anything. You know, put their feet up, put the the blinds down.
Mhm. Then when
At
they have
5
dinner,
o'clock
it
in the
lasts like
afternoon.
5 hours.
Yeah.
Or is that the Italians that do that? I like the really
Ooh,
long. out.
man, if I was over in Spain, I'd probably would never come back.
No, you want to go to Spain to live?
No, I'd just be like, I would just be like, this is the land of gorgeous women. Oh my goodness.
I heard they're kind of like the Florida of the world. A lot of people go there to retire. That's what I
Oh.
know.
It's where a lot of criminals go to retire, especially
Oh.
a lot of British criminals go to retire.
British criminals go to retire in Spain.
It's true. Like the people who did the Great Train Robbery, those sorts of things, they all retired over in Spain and that.
Oh hell!
There's loads of British gangsters that have gone over to Spain to retire. You would believe it.
And if they'd be willing to talk, it'd be awesome doing like a little.
They have done.
doing like a documentary and interview.
There's documentaries out there, and you can talk
Oh, there
to
are?
them.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
You can watch them. Loads of documentaries about old, British gangsters who have retired in Spain.
It's like it's the stereotypical culture I think of, but like even I think of your hey, look at yonder. MSKs.
MSK?
A wild MSK has appeared. Why is he being black today?
Yeah, that's something good to hear.
That's right. That's cultural appropriation, bro. That's not cool.
No.
Yeah, man.
I
That
saw
might be
your
a Rasta
review, but I
sequence.
couldn't watch it, so I'll have to watch it later though. I know he had.
What's up, Walter?
Hey,
cool one
Walter.
today.
Hey, Walter.
He's got the W for win.
What are you eating, MSK? My wife's asshole. I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be something like that.
yeah. There you go.
He's probably yeah.
How's that taste?
Oh,
Better
Lord.
than
Don't
Lizzo's.
ask him to describe that, please.
Yeah.
That's when his creativity starts to shine. It's salty with a hint of nutmeg.
Oh,
and
God. Stop.
the must of a summer evening.
Gross.
It's nothing quite like a
Yes.
Sharn scrotum. Breathtaking.
Oh man, it's been a minute. I need to just go watch those. Just
Those are some of the dude.
if it weren't for the villain and Goldmember, that one was a little off the rails. Not as good
Mhm.
as the other two. I like all three of them. I wish they would do the fourth, but I know he ran into an issue with his villain. It was going to be an Asian villain with long fingernails and like the mustache. Mike Myers playing, of course. And
Man.
things changed over the years.
he hasn't.
so-
He hasn't. I haven't heard of him doing anything since that.
I mean, he doesn't have to.
Yeah, that's true. That movie. Was,
He's got
man,
that Shrek and Austin Powers money.
I worked on a golf course for so many years, and in the first movie, when he got that golf cart stuck, I lost my mind laughing my ass off at that because that's exactly what you would do trying to back that damn thing up.
You know, it's funny because that movie came out in
like
1999. No,
The
it was
first one?
1999, wasn't it?
The first
It
one
came out the
I think-
same year as Phantom Menace. So
Yeah,
the
so
first
it's
one? I thought the
1999
second one
then.
came out in 99.
Now, that scene where he's in the hallway on the that registered in my brain when I saw it in the movie in 1999 because I remembered seeing it in a trailer for a movie back in 1996. And it's interesting that you say 1996 because they were showing trailers in movie theaters back in 1996 for Austin Powers, but it didn't come out until 1999. Isn't that
yeah.
weird? But I remembered it like as clear as day. I was like, wait a minute.
1997.
Wasn't it? Can't.
The
When?
second one was
in
1999.
Europe.
The second one was 1999. The Spy Who Shagged Me was 99.
that's right. Yeah, because that was the one with the trailer. It had Mini Me in it. And it said if you're gonna go see any movie this summer, go see Star Wars. If you're gonna see
Jack,
two,
what I was thinking about the term flea market, man.
A
Giant
flea
freaking
market.
flea market. That's
Kind
what we
of.
have here, man. That's
Yeah.
kind of what we have here. It's like people will bring all their stuff together, and it's like they'll have all kinds of stuff. You used to go there, they'd have bootleg
Yeah, they don't
movies
sell
and stuff like that.
fleas.
No, they don't
It's not
sell.
like-
Yeah.
Come get your fleas. 25 million for a pound.
So like, so get some fleas. We have lots of fleas.
But yeah, the Austin Powers movie. That third one, nah, I can't be doing with that. But the first two were all right.
I only saw the third one once,
and-
and I was so drunk when I saw it. This was before I got like sobered up.
They are what they are. Anyway, those dates.
About new. That was the best part of the third one.
I don't remember the third one. What's the third one?
the villain was,
Goldmember.
I think, Goldmember. His character was really good, and that the fake movie, Austin Powers movie with Tom Cruise, Kevin Spacey, and Danny DeVito was pretty awesome. But overall, it was a little all over the place. A lot of rehashing of the same jokes.
They're silly movies, and they are what they are. It's immature humor, and it's very silly humor, and we can all laugh at that kind of stuff.
I
And
always laugh at that stupid stuff, man.
I really think if it weren't for the Austin Power franchise, I think that had a lot of inspiration towards other stuff like Family Guy. On because if you look at the kind of humor with the cutaway gags and everything else, it's very that same style is really prevalent.
Yeah. The cutaway stuff. Yeah.
Like, still one of the best ones from the movies is the where they have their tent surrounded and he's pulling everything out of his knapsack and handing it to Heather Graham's character. So it's like the melons. It looks like he's grabbing her tits, and she's pulling something out of the bag.
Umbrella. There's some gerbils in there too. Put some gerbils in there.
Guys, like, oh.
Them guys are all just like, oh god, how much stuff can you fit in there?
I packed quite a bit.
Or where the radar is going off and the spaceship's flying. What's that, sir? I don't know. It looks like just a Johnson. What do you see? I don't.
It looks like a jet. Wayne, pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we have that to thank for a lot of good stuff afterwards. Yeah, I mean, I really can't think what Mike Myers really has done other than Shrek. Beyond that, he had a couple movies like The Love Guru, and that one's
He was in a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, something to do with being a flight attendant. And
was
he
it a comedy or more of a series?
It was a rom-com. I'm trying to think of what it's called now. But yeah, it's about her becoming a flight attendant, like a high-class flight attendant. And moving
an air mattress.
A what?
An air mattress.
An air mattress?
Yeah, I heard that's what they call flight attendants.
Air mattresses. Why
Never
would
heard
they
that
call
before,
them
but
that?
that's clever.
Yeah, an air
I
mattress.
don't understand. I don't get it.
Moving on.
Oh, because they're hoes, man. A lot of the
Ah.
flight attendants are whores, so they made them, air mattresses because they're flight attendants in the air and mattress for always being in the bed. Because
I've
they're
never
whores.
heard that. I've never heard that
Never heard
flight
that
attendants are promiscuous before.
Really?
Well, that was
now,
that's a joke from
now that
years
I
ago, man. That's from
well,
years
now that
ago.
I know that, I will be going to the airport more often.
I think it's
I don't know now, man. I think they just
Now,
hire
most-
everybody based on ugly and diversity. Are you
I was
ugly and
gonna say,
diverse enough to never get sex?
Ah, no, but the thing is-
flight the last 20 years where it hasn't been mostly gay men as the flight attendants.
Oh, God.
And the other thing is as well, you got to
They
remember
really
is that
like
there-
doing the little demonstration on how to survive a crash that we're not going to survive anyway.
And the
Look,
other
man,
thing,
you get-
Diesel, you've got to remember is that, there's weight restrictions on airplanes. So the majority of flight attendants, the female ones, they're all, quite not overweight anyway. Let's put it that way.
I don't know, man. I don't believe it anymore. I think I think they've ruined everything, man. Everything's ugly and just gross.
You black pilled.
No, but like not necessarily, man. I don't mind being like I just expect the worst about that. I'm just like, yeah, oh, it's a hairy gay man in a dress with lipstick on his mustache. Oh yeah, sure.
Well, they're all hired at Disneyland at the
Yeah, that's
the
exactly what I was thinking about. That. Yeah, might have to make a Rumble
Ready to-
only stream before I go and start talking about that.
You might want to.
Yeah, I have to be careful about that. I'll get yeeted off of freaking Twitter again, giving medical advice.
Is that what it was?
You shouldn't give medical advice if you're not a doctor.
This is true.
True that.
Oh no.
Hey man, One Piece got a 95% audience score, dude. I'm hoping Tiny can get back in time to come on here and tell us how good it was.
Yeah, I have been meaning to watch it, and so the whole thing is being released all at once. Is
Yeah,
it, or
man,
is
actually
it
just-
half the?
It's 8 episodes, man. I just checked my Sailing the High Seas site, and it was on there earlier. So yeah, I know what I gotta watch there soon.
Yeah, I'll check my Sailing the High Sea site too.
Yeah.
Would you guys mind providing a link to the Sailing the
Sailing the High
Seas?
Seas. Arrgh. So like
Is-
a pirate walks into a bar and he's got a steering wheel attached to his crotch, and the bartender goes, "Why do you have a steering wheel attached to your crotch there, dude?" And he goes, "Arrgh, it's driving me nuts."
That's the one that I use. I've put it
That's
in
a
the private
terrible
chat
joke.
there,
Well, thank you.
and just
Bookmark for later.
yeah. One Piece.
Yeah, we just use those in Minecraft.
Yeah, it's all there.
Butters.
Oh no, it isn't actually. Oh yeah, it is.
Man,
the
if I
complete
got
one.
stuck behind some
2.5 gigs, that's not bad.
if I got stuck behind some fat tub of crap on an airplane, if they were wedged in there and wedged all over me, I'm just like, well, it depends on where I was going. I'd deal with it if I was going to a certain place that I wanted to go to. I would deal with it.
You think so? What about if you were in between two people
Like
who
going
were
to Europe?
overweight? Yeah,
If I
going
was
to
in
Europe.
between two, I'd just be like, yeah.
I don't think it's asking too much. I mean, if you're that size, no matter what,
You need to
no
buy a
matter
whole
what,
damn row.
yeah.
Nobody wants to sit by you anyway.
you have to buy two seats. I mean,
I
life's
figure though,
not
if I
fair.
get a
this is-
ticket on Spirit Airlines, you get dinner and you get a free show while you're on Spirit.
Well, the argument is like, well, why should we have to pay more because we have a condition? And it's like,
It's not a condition.
well,
I don't
all
care
right,
if it is.
okay, let's just lean into this a little bit then. Yeah, okay, we give you the extra seat that you need, yeah, for free. You pay for one seat, and we give you the extra seat. that means now that there's one seat less, right, for another person, yeah. And plus, if we fill the entire plane up with fatties, we won't be able to have as many of you on because of the weight restrictions. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to lose ticket sales, and I don't think the airline wants to do that. They don't want to lose ticket sales. And what's more, they've already given you a ticket, you know what I mean? And now they're going to have to lose more tickets.
And
I don't think it's going to be a possibility.
If they're forced to, what do you think their solution to that problem is? It's obvious they're going to raise the prices for everyone.
I did see a thing where they had to weigh this big fat tub of crap like on a fucking cargo scale. That was hilarious. Some woman they put on it. Oh, it's humiliating. Lose weight. Obviously, not that humiliated. You wouldn't look like you did. I mean, I get it. I understand about certain things and whatnot, but like, you know, in some things, I have patience and I usually don't. And I feel bad for a lot of people that don't have the motivation to do some of the stuff that I do. But still, man, there's only so much I can take if I'm sitting here. If I'm having to force to deal with your stuff.
Well, you're that big. You've got to be self-aware. You already know what your situation is going into the flight. Well, I'm going to have to buy 2 tickets. Otherwise, they're going to make me get on that scale in front of everybody. Unless you're just really into that shit. Like, yes, look at me.
I don't care. It's not about the literal weight either. It's the spread.
Yeah.
If you're like literally spilling over into my seat while I'm trying to, you know, you've got an armrest over there you can use, but unfortunately, you also have to use the armrest that's there as well. I've got nothing here. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do here? And like you're half over my side. Every time I'm trying to eat my food, you're elbowing me because you can't move anywhere. And you know, like I'm sick to death of counting the sweat beads that keep rolling down your neck. I'm sick of it. So you know, like I need another seat. Sorry,
you lean over and say, "When we get off this plane."
See, I'm lucked out.
That motherfucker right there is not real.
What's up, Nightwing? When just that motherfucker right there is very real, and he's taking up half the plane. I'm not sitting in that.
Yeah, it's like when you have to, like, I can't sit in my.
I'm gonna go sit in the bathroom the entire flight. I'm not sitting by this piece of crap.
In someone else.
Hey, you know what was funny back in the day? We used to get on trains, and we would like. I had an aunt and uncle that lived in New Orleans back in the '80s, back when it wasn't like, you know, the early '80s, when it wasn't like the murder capital of the world and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't a shithole. We would ride a train down there, and back in the day, man, I don't know if you ever rode a train when you were a kid. I'm telling you, the toilets used to flush on the track. I tried to pee 1,000 times when I was on there because I just thought it was, you could flush the toilet and you could see the tracks going by when you flush the toilet, man. I'm telling you, it flushed on the track. I know it did, man, because I kept going to the bathroom over and over. Give me some drink. I don't pee. Even when it didn't have to be just 2 drops. I just wanted to see it go down on the track.
Yeah. They don't do that on planes.
They didn't upgrade the trains where you were at since like the 1840s.
Apparently not, dude, because I remember that shit, dude. I'm like, I even thinking about it now, I'm just like, damn, they didn't have any kind of, they just flushed it on the track.
When
what about when
my brother was in the military and we took a train to go visit some of his family. It was one of those, he got like this really nice train. It was like nicer than any airplane I've ever been on. It was only for like pretty much. It was freaking bad. We got really, really lit on the train. There was open bars.
Train.
Nice.
But
I've drank that shit before, man.
Oh
man. I used to hang out with dudes, and I used to hang out with a bunch of black dudes in college, man. It tripped out. We would go get bottles of the fucking like Mad Dog and Night Train and all the other shit, because it was only like $4 or $5, man. We'd drink a couple of bottles of that and we'd be good grief. Tell you what though, man, I'm just like, I ain't never them dudes. I'm just, oh my God, how do you smoke this much weed? My God, man, it's once every 20 minutes. I was like, eventually at the time, I'm like, time out, brother, I'm gonna die.
I was 20 before I knew that Night Train was actually based on a beverage, not an actual train. So I'm kind of stupid.
No, well, I didn't know about it until later, man. I didn't know about it not when I was younger, man. I just knew about it. I figured that out probably at the time that I was like buying all of that Mad Dog and Night Train and Thunderbird and shit like that with all my black friends getting just fucked up as goat grits, dude. Just, woo. I worked at a grocery store and like it was funny because the main manager of the grocery, when we would go on breaks, we'd go smoke weed. And when we came back, and he knew we went out to go smoke weed because he was cool. And he'd come back and he'd be like, "What you guys doing?" And he'd be laughing. He's like, "Y'all good? What's up? I know what y'all are doing. Y'all, that's fine." And I'm just like, "That's cool, motherfucker." That guy made like 80, 90 grand a year, and he was like cool with us doing that. And I'm just like, "That's awesome." Which in Alabama back in the day was that's some high roller shit right there.
Fuck, 90 grand right now. It's not that bad. Shit.
Dude, are you kidding, man? I would be like, man, if I had that, dude, that would be fuck you money to me. I'd just be like, ah.
Yeah, I think I'd be satisfied with 90 grand. No problem.
Dude, I'd be satisfied with 22 an hour, dude. That would be like, oh, holy shit. I'd still be living in this van down by the river, putting my money into a Scrooge McDuck money bin, dude.
What, one that you could dive into?
Yeah, I figured that. It was funny. He was the only one that could swim in that shit. Everybody else
Yeah,
tried.
because you'd break your face if you tried to jump on.
I was like, if you jumped in, I'm going to jump in this giant pile of quarters. What the fuck?
I always think of that Family Guy, man. That is so gruesome when he falls on the... oh, God.
That might have been one that was so, that ADD humor was so, the first 3-4 seasons of Family Guy and American Dad, as soon as Roger came into play in American Dad, that's the funniest shit ever, man. Like, it was like, I remember
that is by far some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Behold the grown man crying, and he goes, it's Stan breaks a fucking chair on him, and he just collapses.
If the dude Roger's based on wasn't dead, I would have swore that was actually him doing the voice. It's so dead on.
What I just did?
No. The voice actor. You do.
Oh, you're talking about oh God, what is his name?
That gay '60s comedian.
He used to be on. He used to be on.
Motherfucker.
Oh yeah, he used to be on Hollywood Squares all the time.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, man. But let me tell you exactly. Because that's what Seth MacFarlane.
Making the dirty ass.
Seth MacFarlane was the one who did the voice. He was like, he was based on Paul Lynde. That was him.
Yeah.
Paul Lynde. Yeah, he's just like. Any other questions you want, asshole? Somebody asked Seth MacFarlane, is Roger based on Paul Lynde? He's like, is there any other questions you want, you asshole? Like when he left the bar one time and he was sitting there singing that Dolly Parton song, Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. Stupid shit. It's so bad.
Oh man.
It got old quick though, man. It's like they're probably still doing that show, and I'm just like, I don't know.
I think they're both still on. I just haven't watched them. Last new episodes I caught of it.
What, American Dad?
Yeah. Pretty sure it's on CBS.
I can't believe they're still. Is Family Guy still going?
I think so.
Wow. I mean, I used to religiously watch. I had like the DVDs, the box sets of the DVDs, and I used to watch it all the time. I knew all the quotes from it. It was something that I followed right from the get-go. And then after a bit, it just, if I phased out of it, it was just the same stuff over and over and over again.
It's like, I don't know how the Simpsons are still going, man. I think that
it hasn't been funny in like 5 years.
I haven't watched it since I don't think I watched it since the 90s, man. And it's I don't know.
The Halloween episodes have gone to shit.
I'm just like, golly. I remember one time though, it showed like it was when they were ending the Cosby Show, and the Simpsons were watching it. Bart and his dad, and it's talking about Bill Cosby, 1980 something, so to 19 whatever. And he was talking about Dad, if I had a show, I'd run it into the ground. And he's like, amen, son, amen. So that's exactly what Matt Groening is doing, is he is running that show into the ground, man.
Seth MacFarlane actually started writing for The Simpsons.
I don't doubt it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the Simpsons Family Guy crossover that was kind of funny.
That was
No, so there was this once I was watching an episode of The Simpsons, and it was a relatively new one. And I looked like I was watching the things. I'm not going to try and explain what was going on, but I was watching the things happening on the screen, and it was like it went to a cutaway type deal. And I looked at my brother and I was like, "This seems a bit off. This does." I says it looks like someone else wrote this. It doesn't look like it. I said it looks like Seth MacFarlane wrote this. Like this is like Seth MacFarlane humor. And lo and behold, when we saw his name was in the credits, it's like, yeah, he's writing for them. It was just a dead giveaway. It was just the right kind of wacky sort of cutaway humor, and the fact that it was a cutaway as well.
Yeah, it was just like.
Well, it wasn't strictly a cutaway. It was to do with it, but it was. I can't explain it. It was like a montage type thing, but it was a cutaway. But it was just the wackiest type of humor that wasn't The Simpsons.
Yeah, that was what was so funny about several episodes. When after a while, I guess it just got kind of old and like just kind of like I don't know. It just got kind of old and kind of played out after a while. But like there was a few episodes like it was so. You remember when like they were playing trivia night and like Lois changed all the questions for Peter because he's like he's so stupid. So she made all just like what color is a fire truck? What color is a fire truck? And then he goes to that. I saw that nature special about fire trucks. Fire truck hunting a gazelle and it beats it down with a ladder. The ambulance will have to wait. Have to wait till the fire truck's finished eating. And then he thought he was so smart. He went and took a test and found out he was retarded. So they put a sign in his yard and said he was retarded. Yeah. Took his kids away and gave them to Cleveland. There was a plan to get his kids back, so he got a bunch of prostitutes and put them at Cleveland's house. And he goes in the door and he's like, "Look at all these prostitutes!" And it was like Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 prostitutes.
My favorite part of that episode is when he's taking full advantage of being retarded, and he just goes into the women's locker room, starts opening the doors. Oh, hey, sorry, retarded. Aw.
You're just
sorry,
curious.
Retarded. You're just curious.
Sorry, retarded.
Now you see, one of my favorite parts of that episode is in that scene where with the prostitutes, Cleveland turns around to Peter and he says, "Peter, you and 4 of those prostitutes get out of here."
Peter, you and 4 of those prostitutes get out. The Family Guy Star Wars is still one of the funniest damn things I have ever seen. I love the thing with the mouse droid and it goes up. Holy shit! And he goes.
He loves Star Wars though.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it. The reason why he can parody it so well is because he understands it like it's in like the rest of us do. We grew up with it. It's ingrained in our culture, in our souls. We know it like the back of our hands, and he knows it well too, and that's why he could parody it so well. He knew precisely which references to make.
Seth MacFarlane grew up watching all the same TV and shit that I did. That's why I get all those references, man.
He loves Star Trek too. That's why Orville is superb. It's the best, the closest thing to Star Trek.
It's better than Star Trek.
That's what everybody says. I'll have to watch it sometime. A lot of people love it.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
you'll like it.
Star Trek is great. I absolutely love Star Trek, and I absolutely, I was like brought up on the Next Generation. Obviously, the original series was before my time, but the original, the Next Generation was on the TV whilst I was growing up. So it was on every single week, and I absolutely love that show. But I am happy to turn around and say that the Orville is better than Star Trek, all Star Trek, because
Wow.
it is it is Star Trek, but it's got Family Guy comedy in it. Who fucking doesn't want that?
And
You know what I mean? It's Star
I'll
Trek
have to
with
check
Family
it
Guy
out.
comedy.
Definitely,
It's
yeah.
brilliant.
as the show progresses, the comedy is still there and still prevalent, but a lot of the actual story and themes start to get way more developed and advanced. And that's when it's just like, wow. Yeah. So I can just about agree with you on that.
And I like the fact that they keep, throwing Easter eggs in there, like getting the two doctors, like the Voyager doctor and the one from the Enterprise as well. But they're not the doctors.
Mhm.
Do you get what I mean? Or the way that they make fun of the holodeck, and I don't know. It's just that, like I said, it's the perfect with the Blue Harvest stuff. The Star Wars parodies. It's the perfect references that you know precisely which bits to pick on to make it funny out of Star Trek, and
It's
Now
it works.
are you
It
up to
just
date on
works.
the are you up
No.
to date on the Orville? Me neither.
No, I'm not.
I'll have to watch that
I need,
sometime.
yeah, now I really need to. The
Yeah.
first the
Fire
first and
giant
second
boob
season, I think, is
cannon
about as I got.
from the second one. Fire giant boob nipple cannon. And the one guy goes up there.
Yeah,
And he goes,
And as much as I love Space Balls, I think that the Family Guy is a better.
oh, it's way
Mm.
better, man. It's way better. There's a few
And
funny
I
things
love
in
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Oh, I loved it too. That shit when they combed the desert fucking killed me when I was a kid. God, that shit. The Spaceballs had shit in there that you could get. This was what's so good about. I got a lot of that shit when I was a kid in Spaceballs. That's why Ghostbusters to me is the greatest comedy ever made. Because when I was a kid, I saw Ghostbusters in the movie theater. I laughed my ass off because there was shit in there that kids could enjoy. I went back later as an adult and watched it, and then I laughed my ass off again because I didn't understand. I got all that shit where it's just like, how much? Only 3,800. It needs brakes, transmission. He starts reading off all the shit that car needs, and it's everything: rings, pistons, transmission, all this. It just keeps reading off. It needs everything. You get a new car. But yeah, man, Spaceballs though, man, we found shit. I was just like, what the fuck?
Did you like Stripes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't
Love
seen
Stripes.
that in forever though.
That was actually our first date. I rented that and we had dinner.
Really?
I don't think
Stripes.
she's on.
Mhm.
Stripes, yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah. We rented like a bunch of movies, old 80s movies. That was fun.
Well, Stripes, it's a great movie, and like it's the same crew, really, isn't it? It's Harold Ramis and
Yeah.
Bill Murray, and
Just wish.
John
they would-
Candy's in it as well, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. John Candy's in there too.
Yep.
That's another
I-
dude that's so funny, man.
I
wanna
heard
watch
that,
all-
that
Oh, yeah.
the actors didn't know that they were actually going to get their head shaved on the day, and the reactions of them coming out, like John Candy holding his hair in his hand as he's walking down the steps, is his genuine reaction, because he didn't actually know that he was going to get a crew cut that day, or he didn't know he was getting his head shaved that day.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I used to watch SCTV all the time, man.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was a kid, man, it had all those dudes. It was like the Canadian version of Saturday Night Live. It had like I used to watch it for like Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas's Great White North, man. They just sit around drinking beer and frying back bacon, eh?
I think and Martin Short was on that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mark Short. Eugene Levy was in
Yeah.
there, man. Eugene Levy.
What, the guy who was doing the
The guy who was
presidential
in the
debate
debate
the
the
other day?
other night, man. That dude. He was in there. His eyebrows and everything.
I'm making great libertarian points. No one will remember me tomorrow. Oh, God.
Who we got in the chat? 31 comments. Christ, who's speaking?
31 comments.
It's just something, something, something dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah, something, something, something complete.
About the same time, the emperor came up with the formula for a good speech or something. Like you watched you had the DVDs. What did you say you had the DVDs for, Jack? I forgot. It was
You know, the box sets for Family Guy.
Family Guy. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
that for Aqua Teen Hunger Force, man. The first couple
Oh my
seasons
God.
of that show. My God, that was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was so just damn retarded and just
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, man, what kind of? I was like, these Adult Swim dudes are really fucking smoking some crack. Dude.
They started off doing Space Ghost Coast to
Space
Coast,
Ghost.
and then it
That's-
just went from there. Aqua
That's-
Teen, Sea Lab
Oh
2099.
God, man. Sea Lab was so funny. That shit, I went back and watched that here recently, man, and I was just, oh God, so much stupid shit that goes on in there. Like one time the ocean was like all the water was gone, so they decided to knock all the windows out and make a monster truck and do all this shit.
Oh my god.
Um, did you ever watch Ren and Stimpy?
Oh yes, Ren and Stimpy is like the dude who did SpongeBob. You can tell they take all kinds of like inspiration from Ren and Stimpy, man. Ren and Stimpy. I heard somebody they said something about
Billy
it.
West, wasn't it? The voice for Philip Fry in Futurama.
Yeah, he was
Billy
Stem-
West.
Yeah.
And I think he's gone on. He's taken over a lot of the Looney Tunes. He's a
Is
really
that right?
talented voice actor. Yeah.
Did they bring?
yeah.
They brought back Animaniacs recently as well, didn't they?
I don't think it lasted. Didn't have the
It
same.
could,
No,
didn't.
no,
I
no.
saw the commercial when it was like
Was it not
something mansplaining, and I'm just like, "Are you?" fucking
no.
Yeah, they.
Yes, that was
it
good.
was completely modern.
Woke,
you know,
fresh. I saw that trailer and I was just like, "Well, gone out, done."
Yeah, didn't
Can't
last.
even- yeah.
I mean,
What's MSK saying?
is he still in the
Ever
chat? I
have
thought he went to bed.
sex, you freaking clout chasers? Well, I've got a kid, so yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I do too. So yeah,
My cock and balls work.
yeah,
I can prove it with DNA.
yeah. I have the DNA evidence, man.
Oh, do you have
Don't
two
make me
different
cut a
chat?
finger off to prove it.
Is he in your Rumble chat or?
No, in the
I didn't
YouTube.
even- YouTube chat. I didn't even set up anything
You can
except
see
YouTube.
it. You can see it there, mate. In the
In the comments.
in the sidebar
Oh.
in StreamYards. You got the private chat in the comments. For the,
Oh, comments. There we go. Hey, I didn't. Hell, I've been having to multi-screen it. That's why I'm like, I can't.
Me too.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah. That's your. But you can't like. Sometimes it doesn't put comments from other things. Sometimes I can't remember exactly which ones, but like it shows the YouTube comments up there.
Are you
That's
streaming
cool as
to
hell. I
Rumble
didn't
as
know you
well
could
at the
do that.
moment?
No, I probably should. I've got a Rumble account. I should probably.
Oh, you
that
do?
stuff.
Well, that's gonna
Okay.
make things a lot easier. Happy Tree Friends, Vince. I couldn't get into that shit. That's just with all the cute, Diesel's cute little animals brutally murdering each other, or brutally
Yeah.
getting murdered by circumstance.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the South Park thing, you know, the League of Super Best Friends.
Yeah,
Hey, no, I know. Why don't we poke his eyeball out and then we can fuck him in the eye and then we can give his eyeball AIDS?
yeah.
I haven't seen that. I haven't watched South Park in forever.
South Park has not dropped the ball yet.
No, they have
still
not.
solid. As
That one
long
where
as the
they're running
world-
away from climate change. Oh, the one where they're running away from climate change. It's
That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to watch it. The movie back in the day was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That movie was funny as God. It was funny as hell. Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker. You're a
I mean,
talking Uncle Fucker.
They
You
certainly
say
know how
Uncle
to write comedy because they did that basketball as well, didn't they? That
Yeah,
and
that
that
was a
was a
solid
pretty
movie.
funny movie.
I got to go back and watch Team America. That's funny as
That's
fuck.
great too. I love Team America. Their first movie, Orgasmos. You can tell it's their first movie, but it's still funny as hell.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous, but it's funny.
Give me a
Okay.
second, I'll be right back.
No problem.
Yeah, for sure. No, you gotta go back. What are they on? Max?
Oh man, I can find
South
them.
Park.
I can find them on Yo Ho Ho. And
There
a
you
bottle
go.
of Brass Monkey. Oh my god,
Yeah.
he shakes her hands. She sure gets fucking good.
With basically all the social commentary and how they can predict how stupid things are going to get 5 years before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about once you start.
Oh,
watching it.
I think I've seen the one you're talking about where Cartman decides he's going in the girls' bathroom or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's
that's one.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
The winner of the Strong Woman competition.
Yeah.
What are you, a transphobe? So good. Oh man, yeah, highly recommend going back, checking it out.
Oh my God. Will people stop? Why is that Angela Bellacama, whatever her name is, that trolling bitch that's always like liberal women and that's always on my stream?
I think is that who you were talking about, Selena?
Who was it?
Is she the one that's like always walking and with the
Yes,
weird
that's
crazy
her.
eyes,
Oh God,
massive forehead?
yeah. She's got a
and
forehead
dancing.
you can
Oh
like
god,
advertise.
I hate that girl. She's so annoying. The dancing girl.
Oh
I
God,
mean,
now
there's-
she's like rate my fierceness from 1 to 10, and I'm just
No,
like,
nobody wants to rate you.
why do people keep responding? Just yeah.
Just let her die. Like not die, but let
Some
let
people
the,
say
let
that
the,
she's let
her
a
popularity
troll or
fade.
let her
something.
popularity die. She's not. Is she popular? I don't even know.
And she gets 1,000 responses to this nonsense.
But
I
I mean,
think
she's
she's
not even
maybe
like-
she's just trolling people.
That's
She
I don't
might be
know.
fake,
It's
but she's fake, it's
2,499 comments. Oh my God, I hate you.
Yeah, but maybe again, if she's a troll, then that's smart.
I don't know. I despise her. I wish she'd go away.
She's
Well,
annoying.
It keeps popping up on my feed, man. I just want her to go away. Oh my God! Did you guys? I don't know if you saw earlier, like Dan Vask, like he got him a Game Boy camera and took a picture of himself. Oh my God, man! It was so shitty. Jack and I were laughing at that earlier. It's so bad, man. I didn't know they actually for a Game Boy they had a camera. You could actually buy a printer for your game print out.
I think it's a great idea. I love the idea of it.
I heard he was gonna try to do an actual stream.
Stream with like thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack said he could. There's a way to do that.
I hope he does. That's freaking awesome, man. I think he'll beat Nerdrotic and win the bet overnight if he can pull that off.
I don't know. It's getting close, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're still neck
Yeah.
and neck. I can't decide which would be
Sorry.
funnier. I think it'd be funnier if Dan wins and he has to do a Bon Jovi parody.
I want to see Gary do a Bon Jovi
Yeah.
parody.
So sorry, Gary. So I'm rooting for Dan Vask on this one. What was him? Dan Vask would have to sing an original song written about man buns being gay.
I think they should just. It doesn't matter. They should both do it. They should just both.
Yeah,
do it.
then we win.
everyone
the audience wins.
The audience wins.
Is
That's
it
what
for
they
the
should do.
audience?
They should both do it.
Yes,
Dan should sing a gay professional sounding song, and then Gary should do some awful Bon Jovi stuff. I'm with him though. I hate Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen and all that stuff, man. Yeah.
I've never been a Springsteen fan. I could give a shit about him, but Bon Jovi, I think I've got my liking for him is the Young Guns 2 soundtrack, because that movie came out when I was 12 and we were freaking obsessed with that movie.
Everyone was at some point, man, when that movie came
Yeah.
out. It was big. It was a big deal.
Yeah, we saw that shit at the drive-in. We had to stop and get you could go to like the 99-cent store and get those little 6-shooter cap guns. We had to get those. Man, hell yeah.
Even Kevin Smith has a story about Young Guns 2 when it came out on video.
Probably
video
bullshit
store.
because he's a pathological liar, but
Could be. It was a funny story though. Of course, that's a long, long time ago. Back when I used to check out his podcast and stuff, and used to laugh.
oh yeah, I loved Kevin Smith for a while.
Fake nerd. Yeah, good grief. I wish some people need to stop quoting and responding to that woman. Whatsoever.
It's funny, we were just talking about Roger from American Dad, and that's who she kind of resembles, is Roger when he's all dolled up as a woman.
Yeah. She does,
Or
actually. She kind of does. Roger would be more pleasant, though.
Who are
Lacey
we
be
talking
funner
about?
That Angela
funner to hang.
Bella Camo, whatever
Yeah,
her name is. That
pull her
liberal
up and
chick
share
that-
your-
Oh, that
everybody makes that
fucking
face when they
bitch.
say, I can't stand her. I know, right? That fucking
Oh,
bitch. I'm stealing your word.
yeah, fucking. Oh God. Apparently, people think she's a troll. I'm not convinced. I
don't
think
think
it's
she's
a
a troll.
really, really, really sad. I think she's just completely unaware of how cringe she is. That's what I'm
That makes
afraid
it so
of. That
sad though that I actually feel sorry
Yeah.
for her. If that's the
Yeah,
case.
but that's the thing, though. It's a pity
don't
thing
want
as well.
I don't
Oh,
pity
she
her enough
just.
to want to see this. Oh, God, there it is again. Stop quoting this person. It's
Share
been
your
all
screen,
over here
share-
today, damn it.
Share your screen, and then pull up a picture of Roger in drag. We got to do the comparison. Do the
Because she
Pepsi
has got the
challenge.
forehead for it.
Yeah, she
Right.
does have Roger's forehead.
Meh.
Hey, here you go. I'm gonna Jack. I'll get you. I'll let you in the private chat, dude. Yeah.
Oh, you bastard. You would make me fucking share it, wouldn't you?
I had to watch it, man. I've had to see it. I've had to scroll through this trash all day.
Fuck's sake. Here we go. Meh.
If MSK is still here, I'm sure he's gone. Would.
Of course he will.
I'm not actually playing the sound, but I'm watching it and I know that it's Eye of the Tiger. Am I right, Diesel?
No, I have no idea. I haven't clicked on it enough to let's.
It's Eye of the Tiger. She's punching to the theme of Eye of the Tiger.
I'm
Oh,
playing
there's
it
no
on
sound
mine.
on it.
no
There's no sound
She-
on it.
This weirdo uploaded this video with no sound.
Yeah, she's punching to the Eye of the Tiger. That's the point of the video. There's no sound, but she's showing you that she's punching to the theme of Eye of the Tiger. Watch. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sure you're right.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. She didn't time it right because there's actually a pause in one of those dun, dun, duns.
And if she connected
did-
somebody with any one of those hits, she'd break her wrist and probably
Yeah.
most her fingers.
It's almost like she's having a when people run around flailing their arms around. Ah, meh. Oh God, this woman.
Poor thing.
I mean, some people really think that she's trolling and she's really good at it. but I'm not convinced.
I hate her. Oh wait, sorry, dude. I was gonna remove the image and I removed you. My bad.
Womp
right.
womp.
Now to compare, let's look at Roger.
I don't get it. Have you sent me a picture of Roger?
Now I'm gonna find it. Let's see, where did I put it?
She just she's saying things like this, like someone's said, I'm going to say 100 as in 100%, don't want to get on your bad side, liberal or otherwise, and she's answered by saying many conservatives ask if they can pay for my bad side. What why are these people actually alive?
That's similar. I think her forehead's bigger.
What? Did you remove them again?
Do what?
Selena and Rusty have disappeared.
Oh, they did. They must have had an issue with the internet. I didn't remove them that I'm aware of. They're gone from the back end.
I don't want them getting into your back end, do you?
Yeah. It's always kind of iffy.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the stream, folks. Talking about back ends.
Back ends, man. Wonder what happened. I bet they had an internet issue.
So we didn't actually know where to take this stream tonight, did we, mate? We just thought we'd play it by ear.
Yeah.
Didn't actually know what direction to go in.
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't know. Think about planning something for other ones. I don't know. I just figured we just talk about some shit or whatnot. I was hoping Tiny would get back so she could talk about, give us a heads up on One Piece, man. See what she thought.
Maybe we can save it for another stream because we can at least now we've got an opportunity to watch it ourselves. You know, we can go and sail the high seas and we can watch it ourselves.
That is true.
And then we could have her on and talk about it then.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yep.
Let's see what goes on this weekend or something. I don't know. What are you looking like this weekend?
Saturday night, I'm usually busy around usually about 12 o'clock on my time. So I don't know what that is your time. But 12 a.m. on a Saturday evening.
Should be
it's like 12 a.m. Sunday morning, really. But yeah, you get what I mean.
The power went out. Aaron said the power went out.
Oh, no. Unlucky. I hope you're okay. Hope you got candles. And a gas stove. Not that you need them, because apparently it's boiling hot over there right now. And the sun's out.
Yeah, I thought about cooking a steak on the roof of my car the other day.
Oh, I could do with a steak right now. I could eat a whole fucking steak right now.
Yeah, steaks are great, man.
Nice. I don't know. What do you reckon? 16 ounce?
I have no idea, man. Whenever I get it, as long as I get a decent marinated, all right. then it's like it's fine, man. I try to get like the biggest like piece of meat with the least amount of
Mhm.
fat, so I can just like I don't even care if it's tough as a shoe, as long as it's a big giant piece of meat. I'm like that'll work.
That's not going to be clipped at all.
Yeah. Maybe when we get a little bit more popular, somebody will clip it.
Oh no, if Anvek's still hanging around.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, that's it. You're on the internet now, mate. Welcome to the internet. Take a look around. Anything you say can be fucking clipped and taken out of context.
It's a good song.
It is. It's a good song. If you haven't heard of Bo Burnham, go and check it out. It's a great song.
Oh,
Um,
I hadn't. I thought you just made up a song on the fly, singing an internet song.
Oh no, it's Bo Burnham. Welcome to the internet. It's a great song. They actually did a VR chat version of it as well. Do you know what VR chat is?
Like virtual reality stuff. No.
Yeah,
wait.
so VR chat is a specific program. It's on like Steam VR or fucking Oculus or whatever, and it's essentially imagine the chat rooms that we used to hang around in.
Yeah.
back in
The
the
message
days, yeah.
boards or
Message boards and stuff like that, where anyone can talk to anyone, no matter what age you are, realistically, no matter what age you are, no matter where you're from in the world, you can all talk to one another in a chat room,
Yeah.
Now, imagine that chat room is a place that you can look around, you can move your head and you can see all around it, and the people that you're speaking to is just like me and you speaking to each other right now, but instead we have like
VR
like a 3D avatar.
like
So
Ready
you can
Player
choose
One.
Yeah, kind of, but you don't get to shoot each other, that sort of thing. Well, I suppose there are some worlds where you can play games and stuff like that.
It's a big
But-
giant room like where they used to hang out and talk.
It's whatever world you want it to be. There's a massive developer community around it, and they make all these sorts of worlds. They've even taken levels out of games and put them into VR chat, so you can go and walk around these levels in the VR world. And all the majority of the avatars that you can get, they're all like anime and fucking Nico maids and like furries and that kind of stuff. But you can get things like The Witcher. And so basically people just like steal assets from games.
That's a lot like the Ready Player One, where they had the room where everybody would go, the hub network or whatever, and everybody had avatars in themselves, and they would just go hang out in there or something.
Yeah, kind of just like that, yeah. But realistically, that's what it is on the face of it, yeah. Realistically, it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. It is a fucking awful place
I can imagine
to hang out in. And the Welcome to VR Chat song sums it up perfectly. So to get an idea of it, go and listen to Welcome to VR Chat and you'll get an idea of what VR Chat is like. Because it is just a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Literally.
Anyone in the chat out there ever been on VR Chat? Is anyone still watching?
Man, there's 5 people watching.
Yeah, it's been quite consistent, actually.
Yeah, about 7
consistent
or 8 people,
5
man.
people. Been keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, it wasn't as many as the other night, but hey, that's cool.
That's okay.
That's all good, man. We had like it was an all-star cast.
It was.
Yeah, I got that song pulled on. I'll check that out a little later. Just degenerate scumbags on the internet sounds.
I just switched back to my Twitter tab and it was still that fucking Angela woman.
Yes, I know. It's yeah. Ugh. The only thing more cringe than that would be watching that thing that's got all those like those failed nightly talk show host people on it. Ugh.
What's this?
The thing with Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, and then there's two other dudes that are like part of the awful late night talk show trash.
Yeah, I know all of those people, but what is it? Something new that they're doing together?
They're coming out with some kind of thing, some kind of show where they're all talking over webcams or something like that, and it's
No.
yes.
Oh, it's like, come on, guys. Did you not get the hint? There was a reason why you failed. There was a reason why people weren't watching you anymore because it wasn't good. And you decided to all get together like you're some Power Rangers making a fucking Megazord or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You're all individually shit, and now you're just gonna make one big massive pile of shit.
No one is gonna watch that trash. I mean, I nobody watched their show. It's been it's just awful.
I'll tell you something cringe I saw yesterday, which I wish that I hadn't seen. And it was like Car Crash TV, because once I started watching it, I found it very difficult to switch off, even though I really didn't want to watch it. I really didn't want to watch it. So it was Eliza Blue doing a fucking review on some fabric conditioner. I couldn't look away. I don't know what was going through my fucking head. And I was sucked into this thing. It was like I said, Car Crash TV.
Yeah,
it was just so
it's like you gotta watch it. It's so awful that you couldn't turn your head away.
I couldn't. It was so bad.
Oh God, the humanity! But I can't stop watching. Oh, that woman is she's awful.
She's off a rocker, mate. Now.
Oh, I'm sure
she's got to be.
She is just.
She's so damaged
with her silver pink hair thing going on. I'm just like, I can't understand if you're trying to go for are you trying to look like an 80-year-old and then throw some pink on it? I don't understand. She just everything about her. There's nothing attractive.
She's
there.
So broken now. There ain't no fixing that girl now.
From all the exposing what a piece of shit liar she was.
No, I just think she probably had a few mental issues anyway, but now it's like she's really gone one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That would probably be that'd be just good grief.
You know, like Britney Spears level of gone one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Keep her away from me. That's the last thing I need is another lunatic, man, in my life. Just nah. I want somebody sane. This is the crazy shit. Nah. No, just keep them away from me.
Yeah.
Go away.
Don't stick your dick in crazy.
No. Don't even talk to it. Don't talk to it.
It's like when all that stuff was going on with her basically, and everything was on the internet about her, and like videos started surfacing of like her backstage with like Adam Krigler and Shane Cashman, and they're being all her and Shane Cashman are being all flirty and shit.
Oh yeah. And
I'm thinking to myself, no, Shane. Don't get seduced. No. Don't fall into that trap.
He's like rubbing on his leg and all that stuff. In the Tim Pool show.
Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, Shane, no, don't do it. Like, and by that time it was already done anyway. Whatever might have happened, but I just felt so bad for the guy. It was almost like he couldn't see through it. And he was falling for it.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, you know, if we'd have all known what we know now, no one would have fell for it.
Yeah, man. I know sometimes it's hard to see Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
I'm going to kill you in Minecraft.
Exactly. That's the best. Yeah, I like that. That's great. I'm gonna put that in Jack's your coffee table book of quotes. Fool me once,
shame on me.
Fool me
Fool
twice,
me twice.
I'll kill you in Minecraft, motherfucker. And your little dog too.
Yeah, and your little dog too. I'll get your little fucking dog, don't worry. Yappy little chihuahua thing. It tastes great. I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
Got a couple of Chinese shops down the road who knock a nice curry up for me. Nice dog curry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm racist.
What's the name? Lila Hart's always talking about eating dogs. Somebody made a little Lego person out of her and it came with a little dog for her to eat.
Wait. Was the Lego person smaller than a regular Lego person?
Yeah, it was. It's funny. They gave Chrissy and Lila and Keanu Lego people.
The Lego one that they did for Lila Hart
was shorter than all of them, and it came with a little doggy.
Good.
At first, I didn't know what was going on, but I'm just like, what? She keeps talking about she keeps talking about eating dogs. I guess that's a joke, or that's just her thing.
Yeah, it's about, like, you know, Asian people. They apparently
eat dogs, like extra
cooked. Yeah, like there's like a joke over here about like dogs going missing in the area since the new Chinese opened up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know about the Asians eating the dogs joke. That's been around for a while. That's funny.
So, do you play League of Legends?
No, I can't play those top down. I don't. It looks like something you play on your phone, but that's where you get the groups of people to attack things, and I just. Yeah, I don't get.
Did you ever play Age of Empires at all?
No,
or
not really.
Warcraft.
No,
not World of Warcraft, not the massively multiplayer online one, not that one, but Warcraft 2 specifically came out about the same time as Duke Nukem 3D, so it was an MS-DOS game.
A lot of people played those, man. They were awesome.
Yeah, it was real-time strategy game, just like Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2 and 3, and I think even a fourth one's been released now. Those games are fucking awesome. I love them.
I never got into the strategy stuff, man.
Yeah, Command and Conquer.
A lot of people played it. My brother played stuff like that. He played, it's probably a different thing, but I remember him playing Civilization.
Yeah, that's very similar. Yeah, it's exactly the same sort of thing.
He was explaining to me. I never got into any of that. The only thing close to any of that, and it's not even really close to it, that I ever played was Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's probably the closest to any of that I ever played.
Did you ever play Sim City as well?
No, I never played Sim City. My brother played it, but I played Roller Coaster Tycoon, and it was, man, I tell you, I had spent hours pouring after. It was like after I graduated college. I just pouring over this park, and I had made this park in the biggest map, which had like a big pond in the middle of it. And like it was rocking and rolling, but I could not get my workers to fix the roller coasters or clean up the stuff. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? So my friend explained this to me. He said, what you got to do every once and then, man, like when they don't fix stuff like that, you got to pick one of them up, drop them in the pond, and sacrifice that bitch, man. You just have to kill one of them off every now and then. And I was like, I tried it. And damn sure enough, I dropped this motherfucker in the pond and killed him. And my roller coasters were fixed, and they were picking up trash. There was a guy, I remember one time, man, he was in the edge of the program space. And there was some dude out there striping grass out in the fucking middle of the woods. Like this little Mexican guy, the landscaper guy, was cutting grass. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Your area is 5 miles to the southwest. It was in the corner. You couldn't get any more further to the top right of the screen. Where is so-and-so? And I went up there, and he's up there striping grass. I'm like, what is this motherfucker doing? There's nothing in there. How did you even get there? I don't even know how he got there, man. It was surrounded by trees and shit. I'm like, how did he get there? But sure enough, man, it was like every now and then I had to kill one in the pond, and like, because they would be like, you assign somebody to work on a roller coaster when it break down and to clean up a certain area, and they just quit doing it, and people would like act like they were walking to it, but they would never fix it, and then they would just stop, and then, man, let me tell you something. After I start learning that, I kill one every now and then. Man, my park got run efficiently. Sure, there was a little homicide there, but I mean, good grief, that's a good way to motivate.
I can be a cruel god sometimes, but as long as you
understand, and imagine not knowing that you eventually had to kill these worthless workers of yours. I'm paying their ass too, and they're still doing that shit. And it's just
well, that happens in real life.
Yeah, apparently so, man. Especially in places like China. Drop one in the pond because they had these a little claw tool. You could just pick him up and just leave him out there in the pond. Sure enough, man, it was just like all my rides were fixed. The trash was getting cleaned up. I was like, "That's right, bitches." Dude, I think it was the dude that was out in the. I think I killed the guy that was out there cutting grass in the edge of the program space. I think that's the one I picked up to throw in the pond the first time. I was so pissed off that I was like, "How the hell did he even get over here?" I was like,
"No, right, you're definitely going in the pond, you bastard."
Like, here's my park, and it was like up there.
Fuck you and your lawnmower.
That corner of where I can't, like right there, and the park was like stuff was down here. I'm just like, how the fuck did he get over there? In the middle of nowhere, and he decides to cut grass. I was just like, were you planning on building a park out here too, Pedro? Nah, sorry. Kids are gonna be orphans now, motherfucker. You should have been cutting grass and fixing roller coasters.
It's funny that you called him Pedro. That's so stereotypical.
Of course it was. He was a stereotypical Hispanic-looking dude that was cutting grass in a roller coaster tycoon. That landscaper people were all Hispanic dudes with mustaches, man. It was just like, and he was cutting grass, and I was like, he actually made some good, nice-looking stripes out there in the middle of nowhere. But
I mean, you did a great job. You just did it in completely the wrong fucking place.
If you'd have done that near the park, where the actual people are, instead of being out here in the middle of nowhere, it'd have been nice. That was great. That was just. Yeah, I was back when I was still dry. I was sitting around drinking for hours in it, man. I was like, I just look at every day and look at my money go up. I was like, I finally figured it out. Except one thing, I had spent all this money and built this custom roller coaster, and I got one group of people to ride it. I mean, it was like badass. And one group of people rode it. And they got off and they all threw up on the sidewalk outside the roller coaster. And they were all showed a little tornado over their heads like they're Disney. All threw up when they got out. And then from then on out, every person that would walk up to the front entrance would go, and their eyes would like pop out, and they'd turn around and walk away. Everybody, I was just like, you know how much money I spent on this roller coaster, you assholes?
The Death Coaster 3000.
It was like I had to break it down to sell it. It was just not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, like you that was the whole point, though. You couldn't make it too fancy. It had to have just the right amount of, what it needed, just the right amount of loops and just the right amount of turns.
It probably went faster than the human body could tolerate. It was probably.
Well, that's what. Have you seen that roller coaster that guy made, like the euthanasia coaster? The euthanasia coaster. Seen that one. So basically, it's a series of loops that get smaller and smaller, and as obviously the loops get smaller, it slowly drains the blood away from your head, basically. So you just pass out, and by the time you get to the end of the coaster, you're dead. You're dead. The euthanasia coaster.
Sounds like fun.
The Death Coaster 3000.
The Death Coaster 3000. There was one that was like it would go up and then it would come back down. It was like one of these pre-made fabby things, but you could go in there and speed it up. And you could launch that coaster out there, and it would just explode in the air and kill everybody on it. It was a fun game.
So it's fun. You had fun blowing things up.
Yeah, man. It was neat. I had a badass park there, man. Because you'd have to sit there and you had to dig down each little square. It was still better graphics than Minecraft, but it was like you dig down and make stuff flat, and then clear out places and do all of this stuff, some landscaping stuff, and I'd spend hours doing that thing, man. I don't know what was good, man. I could never spend that much time on anything. I couldn't even do that on my life, man. It would just be like, oh God, yeah, how much effort that took to do that shit.
But this is the problem, though, isn't it? I mean, you've got people. Do you remember there was a game called Second Life?
I think I've heard of it.
So this is when like massively multiplayer online role-playing games started coming about, and Second Life was like basically a way of literally doing what it says on the tin, living a second life. And people were like doing things like getting married in there, neglecting their own real life children, those sorts of things. You know, they were literally living their life in this game. And you know, you think to yourself, all the time that I've spent wasting on like playing games, all those years that I like spent those hours on those games, you know, I'm never gonna ever get them back. Why did I ever play on those games? But at the time, it was fun.
Well,
you wanted to break away from things, and you wanted to play something and do something fun.
Well, I got a good story now that I can tell about drowning people in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Okay.
And it's kind of a fun story. It was just tripped out though, man. I still think that's hilarious. That it's just like every now and then you gotta thin out the herd. You gotta kill one of them. And I was like, really? Cool. This guy told me, I was just like, I can't get these motherfuckers to fix it. He's like, well, I know what you gotta do. You gotta take one. You're on that last map. Yeah, you gotta drop one in the pond every now and then when they do that and kill them. It motivates everybody else real well. And he was right. That's funny.
And it works in real life too.
Oh, I almost pressed the button and exited out of the page. Good grief.
Left me here all on my own.
I know, right, man? That's too easy to do on this keyboard. I accidentally press a button. It's like, would you like to leave the page? No, I didn't mean to press that button.
How would I have entertained these people without you?
I mean,
all on my Charlie Lonesome.
Why is there a leave page button? I mean, is moving the mouse and clicking up there to exit out of it too difficult? We need a one button. I gotta leave page. No, I need a nuke button.
So what we're doing then?
Let's see. Do you need to go?
Not right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Give it another 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Let's see. I was gonna see if there was anything funny over here. Man jailed for raping masked intruder at home. Oh, Gundam.
Gundam did that, did he?
And
He
I
was
think
arrested.
raping a masked intruder in the house. A Melbourne man. Of course, this is Australia. That's funny.
Wait. So a home invader came in and the person raped them. That is weird.
Apparently, this is what Gundam shared. Man jail for raping mass intruder at home. A Melbourne man who overpowered and raped an intruder will spend at least 4 years in prison. Good grief. That's where you guys sent your prisoners, man.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. That's funny. They were talking about that, I think, on Friday Night Lights. It's like the island's so fucked up. They were just like, we'll just leave them there. There's spiders and snakes and everything else that'll get poisoned everything. We'll just leave them. That'll be fine. I did see something funny one time that Drinker posted on Twitter. He said, and I understand, he's like, I think I found the ugliest building in Scotland. And he posted a picture of a building. And holy shit, was it ugly. And then Count Dankula replied, wait a second, have you seen this building? And it was an even uglier building. It looked similar to Draker's, except it had even more ugly shit added to it. It was like, oh my God. It was like, what the fuck is going on in Scotland? I think
Don't suppose you got the link to that.
I wish I could. That's been months ago. God, that was funny. I wonder if I can search that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it myself.
Oh, here it is.
You got it.
I found it.
Ugh. That is brutal. Wow, that is brutal.
I know, right? Look at the shit coming off of there.
Like,
I mean, look at all this. Look at what. Look this.
it looks like a
thing.
cargo carrier. It looks like a container carrier. You know what I mean? A ship.
A shipping container down towards this
Yeah,
area at
yeah.
the bottom, and it's like they just stuck. What the? It's. I'm wondering what part was built first. Good grief! This was centuries from now. Scientists unearthed this thing. We're not exactly sure how this was made, but apparently humans worked in this thing or lived in it or tortured people in it. I'm not something. Let me see if I can find the one in the replies.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, you want to see something messed up, right?
Do what?
You want to see something messed up?
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. I'll share it. This is the Spaghetti Junction in Birmingham.
What the shit? It does look like spaghetti. What in the hell is going on here? How many accidents? How many
It's where a load
accidents?
of motorways meet, basically, and it goes off in all different kinds of directions. And I think it's a fine example of what an architect can do when he's pissed.
that looks angry, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what were they thinking? Like, genuinely?
How many accidents happen there? I'm just trying to.
It's a good question. Maybe too many to count.
They may not.
No, I mean, like, the majority of them, like, so it's all basically just, you know, slip roads. That's all that is. It's just a network of slip roads off a motorway, on and off motorways.
Yeah.
That's all that is. So it's all pretty much one way. But it's the case of, you know, knowing which way to, you know, which lane to be in, isn't it? So
imagine if you were in the wrong lane and got off you're going to be spending all day trying to get back into this nightmare to try to find the right one.
It's terrible.
It's like in what is it, European Big Ben Parliament, and they're stuck on the thing going around again.
The Spaghetti Junction in Birmingham.
That is, yeah, I remember you talking about that. That's madness. Mm-hmm. Oh, here. Here it is. Here's Dankula's reply. I'm so glad Twitter's got a good search thing. If you could remember something from what was said. Look at that. It's even uglier, man.
Jesus Christ.
Look at that crazy shit. Look at this arm thing holding this up. This thing is it's funny that two Scotsmen are comparing the ugliest buildings.
Yeah,
in the
what about
country.
it? Let's see. Yeah, have you ever seen this? This is another building that we have in the this is in the center of Birmingham. This is the Bullring Shopping Center. Share screen.
That's a shopping center?
Yeah, it's like a big mall. Huh? Imagine how long it takes to clean those bloody things.
What are those? Those aren't
They're like big discs that have been
like metal discs.
Yeah. It's a massive pin cushion. That's what it looks like, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what it looks like. Kind of like those things, where you put your hand on it and it's got the little nails and stuff in it. You make your impression out of it. The inside of it doesn't look terrible. It looks somewhat normal for a mall, but the outside is like, at least there's windows where you can see out of the thing.
Yeah, there's another famous landmark in Birmingham as well. This is like really 60s, 70s art. Yeah, there we go.
That's actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah. So that's the Rotunda.
That's
and
some of the stuff in the 60s I like.
It stands right next to the Bull Ring, which is what we just saw. So yeah, prominent landmarks.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's pretty cool, man. There are some things from some kind of 60s architecture. Some of it can be like kind of tacky and a little strange looking, but some of it it's kind of neat. Some of it is.
Oh, I tell you what, here you go. You can take a look at this. This is the newest library in Birmingham. I say newest because they knocked the old one down. Now, when this was being built, the building site was surrounded by a hoarding, so that you can't, like, the public can't, like, see into it or fuck around inside there. It was like big and secure hoarding all around the work site. But on the hoarding, it was like pictures of the architect, and it was this female architect, and it was showing like pictures of the sort of architectural drawings and the sketches of what it was, yeah. And what it looked like was she'd done the architectural drawing of the actual building, and then her 5-year-old came into the studio, got a crayon, and just did that all over it, like just circles all over it with a crayon, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Okay, here we go. Come on. So that's the library in Birmingham now.
Oh, well, there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just
That's the library in Birmingham. It's beautiful, isn't it?
yeah. It's
I mean, don't look
breathtaking.
too bad inside. Look, that's what it looks like inside. Several floors. Got a secret garden as well on the top.
Nice.
It's got a
And on the outs-
Shakespeare Memorial sort of museum in there.
But then on the outside, it's a bunch
That's
of
the old one. That's the old library.
yeah. Rather plain looking, kind of
Brutalist.
yeah, brutalist.
Hmm.
Hey, Vince is talking about what's the name of the giant butt plug looking building in London, Jack?
Well, it's known as the Gherkin. I can't think of what the actual name for that building is. Let's have a quick look.
Hey, Maria, what did you miss? Ugly architecture. That's what we're on.
Yeah, the Gherkin. That's what it's called. Apparently, it was previously known as the Swiss, but yeah, people know it as the Gherkin, and it
Like a
looks like a
pickle?
big giant
Giant
butt plug.
dick butt plug. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Cosmic butt plug.
Yeah, crap architecture. It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I like gothic stuff from like the 30s.
Hmm.
That stuff looks cool.
I like the look of the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah.
That's got the right amount of gothic in it. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that bollocks.
Hey, man, check it out. Cephalonian. What is up?
Seth came in. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, dude? I haven't seen you since I haven't
Been a
seen you
minute.
yeah, man. Not since maybe in work. I can't even tell you the last time I went to one of Quarter Black Garrett's gaming streams.
Or any of them, really.
Yeah. Man,
Right then. Well, it's 3:00, buddy.
yeah, man. You need to roll, dude, and we're gonna go
I do.
ahead and end it right now at 9:00, brother. Anything you would like to plug on the way out?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Jack Tarlad. You can also see me on YouTube. You just gotta search for me, I guess, Jack Tarlad. You can see me here sometimes, and you can sometimes see me on the Common Nerd. I sometimes appear on MSK stream, but that's just when I'm trying to give him a bit of clout because he's a clout chaser, you see. So I have to try and give him a little bit of clout, don't I? So I turn up there from time to time, just the same as you do, buddy.
Yeah. We both.
But apart from that, yeah, check it out. I could be on a stream coming to you soon, near you in a minute. soon.
Yeah, and I'll have to talk to you and see if we can find a good time. Maybe this weekend to do another stream. Man, might as well. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, everybody, go follow Jack on Twitter, and thanks for hanging out, everybody. You guys are awesome. I know we're a little we're a little slack, unfocused, but we'll get
No,
there.
I mean, like the point was we didn't really know which way we were going to take this stream today, and like we've ended up just sort of shooting the shit, like reminiscing about old things, and
Yeah.
just talking about stuff. We had Selena and Iron as well, and they came in, and like we was just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Things happened.
And I
We
will-
were in that room. Now we're in this room.
Yeah. This is cool. I'm gonna let me I'm gonna post Selena and Iron's Twitter in the chat real quick too, if you guys want to give them a follow. They're two awesome people. And
Follow one of us. One of us.
Exactly. That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Yes.
But
And I'm also going to give a shout out to Quarter Black Garrett and Dave Lando, because Normal World is just starting on their channel right now. So if you want to go watch that, it's
Yes.
premiering now.
check out Quarter Black and Dave Lando, Normal World. I love that show. It's absolutely fantastic. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. This is Diesel coming at you. We'll throw in maybe do another stream Saturday or Sunday. I'll see what's going on, figure it out. Try to
Maybe
get the word out.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Saturday night, I'm doing a different stream.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right. I'll probably be on MSK stream too Saturday night, so I'll maybe do something
Mhm.
Sunday.
However, yeah, thanks to the chat as well for popping in. It was great to see you all in here, and good to see Iron and Selena, and thanks for having me on again, Diesel. Great to see you.
Always. It's a pleasure, dude. You're my brother. And we will see you guys on the flip side. Later.